Hey friends, Pastor Michael from Organic Church. We're excited for another season of growing together. We'd love to have you join us on Sunday mornings at 10 or Wednesday evenings at 7 for friends, family, and a whole lot of Jesus.
I wrote scribbles and don't try to.
You wrote scribbles, huh? That's how we're going to start it out. Is you wrote scribbles?
I
Perfect.
wrote scribbles.
Perfect.
That's what the 250.
You weren't supposed to talk yet. You see, everybody's
Oh,
ruined this whole
we've
thing.
ruined the whole
You ruined
thing.
the whole surprise. Now you're talking.
Now we've ruined
the
it.
jig
We can
is up.
restart.
Yeah, we do have the technology. It can be done.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Growing Together podcast, Organic Church, and we have got a very exciting one for you tonight. We've pulled all the punches. We've brought in the big guns. We've unfurled the flags. We've done it all. We're ready.
Dun, 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 dun.
Pastor Michael is back in the house.
I feel like we should play Pomp and Stance.
That would've been awesome. Or Macho Man.
Yeah, there we go. Woo! Oh, wait, that's Ric Flair. Don't get me started.
That's soon to come.
Nick, I know this is already off topic, but I have to tell you, I have recently introduced my kids to old school wrestling.
Yes.
They're obsessed.
Attaboy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rikishi?
No,
Rikishi.
older than
You
that.
got to go back.
Older?
Yeah.
Older
Keep
than
older?
that,
Okay.
yeah. Like I'm talking like Papa Shango,
Oh.
Yokozuna, the OG Undertaker.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Snuka.
So, yes.
Yes.
We recently watched, I think it was the 1998 WrestleMania, the one that was at Caesar's Palace.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they were
That's a
loving
good
it.
one.
Yeah.
And then I told Easton that it may or may not be fake, and he could not handle that.
I
He was
bet.
like, "Are you kidding me right
I
now?"
bet.
He's like, "You've been lying to me this whole time." I was like,
What are you talking about, Michael?
Right?
Fake?
My brother-in-law was
Fake. How dare
obsessed
you.
with Undertaker.
Yeah, it
Like,
was-
Yeah.
he
Oh,
named
yeah.
his dog Taker. Not for Undertaker.
That's
No joke.
the old school stuff, though, is so much better.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we
Yeah.
broke out the Super Nintendo and the original Nintendo, and we were playing our old wrestling game.
Nice.
So,
Fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. That's too funny.
yep.
Fantastic.
Anyhow,
Anywho.
Well, if you haven't noticed already, we've also got Syd back. Mm-hmm. So to have you two back is awesome. I thought it would be a little harder. I didn't think it'd be that easy. Just
Yeah,
say, hey,
just-
you want to come on this
Yeah.
week, And yeah, you two jumped right in. So
honestly, picked a great
Appreciate it.
week. My kids were just getting back from camp today, so like I didn't have a whole lot going on. It was a pretty quiet week. So
yeah, that's awesome.
nice.
I actually read your text, and it even said it's for the 250th episode, or not episode, but for the anniversary special.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that's yeah. And some reason I read that it was supposed to be July 10th. That's what my brain read. And then me and Dale were texting Sunday night, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's this Wednesday."
do you know when I realized it was today?
I realized it at 5
Today?
o'clock
When I
today.
left work, I was like, I know
why-
that's coming up.
And I'm always like, they got it. They're good. I don't need to text them. And I thought, no, I better text them, make sure.
Yeah.
Well, and you
'Cause I
both
know how
texted
crazy
me
it is.
this afternoon.
Well, you should have learned from me the one day I missed an episode.
Yeah.
I forgot about it
And
entirely.
I said the
He's
same
like-
thing. I'm like, I'm sure he'll be here.
He was like,
know.
"Are you coming?" I was like, "Oops."
I just want you to know that's one of my favorite episodes because I'm working in the church. I'm in the room next door, and I hear Nick in here talking, and I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I'm working on the internet. So I come in to work on the hotspot that's on the ceiling, and I open the door thinking I'll sneak in quietly. They can continue to record. I'll do. Nick's in here talking to himself. I'm like, this dude's lost his mind.
Now you know how my childhood was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
To my invisible friend.
Yeah.
This is Charlie. What do you think about that point?
Nobody wants to play with the Charlie in the box.
Oh,
Well,
my
July
goodness.
10th would have made no sense.
I know.
'cause We
It's
wanted
just,
this to be our July
But
4th
you can't help
episode. So
it's just my brain anymore.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
There's
and then-
so much going on.
Yeah. And then
And-
today, my sister, my stepsisters are home for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And my stepmom's off on Wednesday. So it was like vacation mode out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm talking to Emily, my sister. I'm like, it's oh, it's Wednesday. I got to be somewhere in an hour. But like,
Oh my God.
in the afternoon, Cooper had my phone to try to take a nap with. So got your text message at 5 o'clock, basically. Got Nick's at 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, man. But we're here. That's all that matters.
We've made it.
Yep,
We have
that's all that
arrived.
counts. We have arrived.
Today is July 1st,
Yes, not 10th.
anniversary of the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg.
Oh.
There we go.
All right. I didn't realize that. What?
it
Do
in
you know what
there.
anniversary? Like what year?
163.
Wow.
I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Nobody's counting, though.
It's a lot.
Especially
Just
not
me.
Right?
Once
Yeah, not
again,
Nick.
just me.
This guy.
Yeah. Just sitting in my room, keeping count all by myself.
Yeah, he's got
Tallying
he's
it up
got
on his
tallies
wall.
on the walls.
Yeah,
He's
like a
got it.
prisoner.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little mark on the
164.
wall.
Marky's walking in. What you doing?
365 days to 164.
Little Rain Man.
Oh, geez.
Oh, jeez.
So how you guys been?
Good.
So
Good. Yeah.
anything exciting and new you want to let the listener in on since you've been gone? I mean, you
Since
guys have
you've
been gone for
Yeah. We've been gone.
7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I came in.
Yeah, you came in. We got
I
you.
don't know.
With
one.
the
Sometime in the
Mary
spring.
episode, yeah.
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 Yeah. Easter.
Yeah.
I just got back from vacation. That was really fun.
Where'd you go?
Peely Island.
Where's that at?
It's considered Canada, but you get on a
Oh.
ferry in Sandusky. And it's a 90-minute ride to
Oh,
the
no
island.
thanks.
Yeah, Chase got sick on the way, and I am not good with like
A
seasickness.
90-minute ferry ride?
Ferry
Nope.
ride.
Hard pass.
So you pass Kelly's Island, you pass Put-in Bay. For all you listeners, this is on Lake Erie. But then, I don't know, it's probably another 45 minutes past Put-in Bay and Kelly's Island. But it was really, really fun, and I found a lot of beach glass, which I was
saw
really
that.
excited about. And like the water was kind of like Tappan Lake water. Like it wasn't freezing cold, but it wasn't like, lukewarm Myrtle Beach water. You know what I mean? So it was really fun though.
Well, I'm sure it was a lot better than going to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yes.
I've never been there, but
To
I
Myrtle?
don't think it's something I'd want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to
I'm not a
Wilmington
family-
Beach
Yeah.
in North Carolina, and it was bad enough.
You
It was
think?
packed.
Yeah.
You couldn't even see the sand. I mean,
Yeah.
so I can imagine how Myrtle is this time of year.
Yeah. And it was
No
just,
thanks.
you could see Cedar Point from our cabin. It was
Oh,
it was crazy. Like, I guess it's only 30 miles like away from Cedar Point, but
Via boat.
via boat. Yeah. Yeah. That
very slow boat.
A very slow boat. Took a
So
while.
is your ick, is that your way of saying you wouldn't do a cruise or anything?
Oh, no, I'm a
So was
cruiser.
it like an old
okay.
steamboat type thing, or what?
It wasn't quite that old.
Rowboat.
But like, yeah, if you've ever taken a ferry over to Kelly's Island or Put-in
Yeah,
Bay, it was just
yeah.
like that. However, whenever I was online, like trying to book it, I was like, oh, the Peely Islander too. It literally says it goes, that the schedule would be the one that we would be on. No, we come up with this small boat, and I'm like, I mean, the other one looked like a mini cruise ship. I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. It's got a nice lounging area, nice restrooms, nice restaurant inside of it.
They're like, no, it's the
No.
old
Yeah,
wooden one.
yeah.
over here.
Yeah. Oh, you need to use the restroom. There's a bucket in the corner.
I picture
Pretty
the
much.
old. I picture the old witch in the boat on Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And they're going across the marsh.
Yeah, it was cool.
you know?
I mean, not that bad, but I had to keep it together because Chase got sick. I'm talking, he was saying he was throwing up like 10 different times in the
Really?
bathroom.
Oh.
And at some point, Cooper was like in there with him.
Here's the thing.
like, buddy.
I have to take a Dramamine to ride in the back seat of a car.
Yeah.
Boats don't do it for
Yeah.
me.
See-
So if that were me, I wouldn't have made it to the bathroom. It would have just been wherever I was at. That's
Yeah.
where it was happening.
Well,
And-
when we even got on it, because it was really windy when we got on on Monday, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get sick because it was very windy and like we hadn't even left yet, and then it was really windy, so we went down to the cabin because it felt warmer. Bad mistake because you're down lower and it's just 10 times worse.
yeah,
Like the shaking
you feel
and
it move.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of hold it together that way. Cooper was like, and Cooper didn't seem to get really sick. Like, didn't seem like it. He was just watching Blippi, like,
Blippy.
Blippi of all things.
Right.
I'm like, oh.
Blippy.
Chase does too, from what I see.
Not. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he got him on the Blippi kick. I'm like, that's all you.
That's your fault. That's your fault.
Yeah, I also fell out of that phase so fast. it
Oh,
wasn't
good. That's
funny.
good.
Yeah, it's good to know, right?
No, it's not because I like Blippy.
No.
Blippy and Bluey.
Bluey, yeah.
I had to take a Bluey break today because they were driving me nuts, and I was like, nope, I'm going to sit back and watch me some Bluey.
Oh my
No,
gosh,
no,
Dale.
no kids around and just me and Bluey. I like it. It's relaxing.
Bluey's
It's actually
cute.
designed to be relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's intentionally built
Yeah.
that way.
I think that's why Cooper only likes the song.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No.
Yeah, because that's too chill for him.
Yeah, he's so high strung. I'm like,
Yeah, because you don't get the opportunity to yell. That's the only chance you get to yell, Mom!
I saw Coop roasting the marshmallow, or not really roasting the marshmallow, but
yeah,
Destroying it.
just having
Destroying
fun with
the
the
marshmallow.
marshmallows. Yeah,
yeah.
when we were on vacation. Yeah, he had fun.
Oh,
He had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're supposed to go somewhere here shortly. We're supposed to go to Virginia Beach, but since I got a new job, I don't know if I'll get to join the party.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to go to Virginia Beach, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Sort of. Depends on whether I actually get to participate. If I don't get to participate, I'll be like,
Yeah. Do you know when they're going?
not off the top of my
Okay.
head. I want to say the end of July.
Oh, okay. So you have a chance. Yeah.
I have a chance outside. I'm not optimistic. Besides, Connie's gotten to where she likes to take vacations without me. As long as it's like her and the girls or something like that, girls trip, which I'm always skeptical about girls trips. Why do you want to take a girls trip? Why don't you want to go with me? What's the problem? What's wrong with me? What'd I do? sounds just like a lady. I was like, what'd I do, honey?
I wish my wife would do it more.
Oh.
Take all the girls' trips. Go for it. Bye. Love you. So listen, my kids have been at church camp since Sunday night. They left Sunday night. Sunday night, what did I do? Sunday night.
Took a nap.
Probably that right there.
I don't remember what I did Sunday night.
Twiddled his thumbs.
Take a nap.
I had dinner with my wife with my oldest son Sunday night.
Oh.
I think so. So he and I ended up going to dinner. I think that was Sunday night. Just chatted for a little while. So I had Applebee's for dinner that night. Monday morning, got up and went to work. I decided while I was at work, I was taking Tuesday off.
There you go.
I wasn't going to work.
It's nice that you can do that.
Yeah. So I put in a PTO day, got it approved. Monday night, I went to the Guardians game with my grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
So we
saw
ate
that.
Five Guys burgers and fries on our way up to the Guardians game because
Nice.
he had never been
Love
there before,
Five
and it's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Got home at about midnight, went to bed, was up at 5 a.m., had my grass mowed by 8, just on the move, okay? Just on the move. Went to have dinner that night, and there's literally no groceries in my house. My wife was like, I'm not going to order groceries. She's like, I'll do it when I get back. You just have to go to the store and get something. So I made a, what are those? It's real thin steak that you fry.
Steakums?
Yes.
Oh,
there's-
Chase loves
So
those.
I do too.
Those are
I do
fantastic.
too. So I made a steakum, but it wasn't enough. So I made a box of shells and cheese. I ate the whole box. This is not like the whole box. I just put it all into one bowl, and I was like, I'll eat until I'm full, and then I'll just come back to it because I didn't get full. Anyway.
So you ate it in one sitting?
Yes, in one sitting. So I did that, and then
Then you spent the rest of the night in the bathroom.
no, I didn't.
Like on a cruise ship.
I didn't finish it until late in the evening, and then I didn't really have anything else to do. So I probably went to bed 10 o'clock. Got up this morning, yes. Went to work, got done at about 11:30, went home, made another box of shells and cheese, and ate it before my family got home. So that's been my week, and I have
goodness.
loved every moment of it.
Yeah.
I can eat like a toddler. If I had chicken strips, it would have been better.
Oh, yeah.
I would have had chicken
I
strips.
love chicken strips.
Chicken strips, cheese sticks, any of those things that really.
At my house, we have to buy 2 bags of chicken strips or chicken tenders or whatever.
They don't make them big enough for my house.
Yes, because I will make chicken strips every day. Every day. And I will make like 5 or 6 in a sitting. And I will sit in front of the TV and just...
I hyperfixate on foods. So fish fillets has been my new one. I don't have any right now. So, but like I'll get frozen fish
Gorton's?
fillets. I don't know what brand they are. And I don't really care.
Yellow box?
You can get me. No, they come in a bag. It's a yellow bag. But
Yeah.
They got the double fish at McDonald's right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I love a fillet of fish
I do.
too.
I
do
Like,
too.
it is a
Oh my
weakness.
gosh.
It is a weakness. but I'll eat that until I physically can't eat anymore. Like my wife will be like, "Hey, I bought you another bag of fish." I'm like, "Ooh." But then 6 months goes by and I'm ready to eat it again. So,
Yeah, that's like Connie can't buy chips anymore, like any kind of chips, because
They're gone in one sitting.
and
That's how my grandpa was.
and she doesn't want me to have too much salt and stuff like that. She actually looks out for me because I don't look out for
that's what I was
myself.
gonna say. Good for her, but
But she won't buy chips because
That's why I
she
don't buy
brings-
ice cream. It'd be gone, like the tub.
I tell my wife the same thing. I tell everybody this. I have two options. I can die happy or I can die healthy. I'm going with happy.
Yeah.
Like, I get it that, like, you can't have a lot of sodium or whatever, but I'm certain that box of shells and cheese was not good for me. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But man, do I feel good. I don't even need dinner because I still think there's a block of shells and cheese sitting in my stomach.
Not to be hard as hell.
Yeah, like it still hasn't, like, it's
it's like
I won't have to eat for 2 days.
I had a family-sized bag of chips and a bottle of water. I'm good. I had the
Bottle of water. Don't be foolish.
Yeah.
I had a bag of chips and 2 Cokes.
He was shot through the bowels. Couldn't phase him.
Listen, real quick while we're
phase him.
talking about food. We get to this island and like I wasn't really told that there's not much to I mean, yes, not much to do, but I didn't realize there was like no store. Like they have like Deersville General Store kind of, and then like another store that isn't quite like almost like half of a general store in a way, like not much at all. So we're putting stuff away because I had dinner planned for like every single night because we were going to be there 5 nights or 4 nights. 5, I think. And then I'm like, okay, then we can just go out to eat one night, and then had lunch all planned. And we're putting stuff away. I'm like, Chase, where's the 2 things of ground beef and the steak?
No.
And he's like, if it's not in there, we
in the
forgot to put it.
freezer.
I'm like, so, and I had it planned out so well. I'm like, tater tot casserole, I need sour cream for. The next night, we can have tacos with sour cream.
Yeah.
So then we don't have to bring the sour cream back with us. Like, it'll be all used up pretty much. So, I mean, we ended up having hot dogs and mac and cheese for dinner one night. And then, like, I think we just got a frozen pizza and the burgers or something.
You lose
That
me at
general
frozen
store.
pizza.
Really?
Frozen
I don't
pizza's
want
fine.
to see pizza at all. I don't know what, but again, it's that like hyperfixation. I'm at the point where I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
All we've talked about is
Right?
food.
Food.
So we probably
Wasn't
want
that what July 4th's all about?
Yeah,
Screw
baby.
that. Screw
Yep,
that.
we're covering
America.
the basics. America.
Hot dogs and hamburgers, baby.
And shells and cheese.
And shells and cheese.
And
Here in Ahia, it's 96 degrees right now.
Yeah.
What was the real feel today? Do we know?
No idea.
it
107?
had-
Melting.
Yeah, it had to be close.
I know the
face
UV was 9. My sister told us that.
What is that?
That is the UV rays from the sun and how much sun you can get. Like, she's telling us this as she has a full-time job at Provia. We're
They
like,
make
hey,
this-
but you can't even sit in the sun to get the sun. You know?
They make this stuff up so they can keep their job.
Yes.
You know they're allowed to wear shorts now at Pro V
Okay,
because it's so hot.
Guys,
Really?
we've gone too far. I mean, we got to back up. So it's the UV is 9?
Yeah.
Is that
it goes
high?
To 10.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, it goes
sorry.
to 10.
It goes
I
to
was
10.
like, what is this?
What do we normally at?
I'm almost 40 years old and I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. So right now, obviously, the UV goes down the later in the day that it gets.
Yeah.
So right now it's 2. At like 5 o'clock when I realized I needed to be here, it was at 6.
Okay.
But apparently at like 1 o'clock today, it was at 9.
Oh yeah, it was
Interesting.
Yeah.
So does that mean you should stay in the sun less when it's high?
Correct.
Yes.
last.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
when you should
Allegedly.
lather up on the.
On the sunscreen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good enough. Now I know.
So you can take that into your 4th of July
Yes.
weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot one. So wherever you are,
Sunscreen,
Safe.
Lather up.
lather up.
Hydrate.
sunscreen, hydrate. Unless you're
That's why I was walking in with a Pedialyte popsicle.
I tried that the stuff you put in your water.
Liquid IV. Really? What kind?
It
The
was-
lemon? The
no,
original?
it was the Rocket Pop. It tastes like colonoscopy prep. If you've never had a colonoscopy, you
Yep.
don't know what I'm talking about, but it is salty and it's thick.
It's bad.
and
You
they're like, drink it through a straw. You can drink it faster. No, you can't.
Ew.
It's awful.
Did you have it shaken up enough?
So listen,
It don't matter.
I
even-
love the liquid IV.
I did a quarter of it, not even the whole packet.
Oh.
I did a quarter of the packet in one of my Owala bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, filled that bad boy all the way to the top, and I shook that thing till you couldn't shake it anymore.
Maybe
I was
you
like,
needed to add more.
No,
No.
no, I could no.
more would
If I would have put more in there, I would have. It would have been like drinking snot. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it ever.
That's a bit dramatic.
It's thick. Why is it so thick?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
It's so gross. So gross. Anyhow,
I think off topic, but I think that
have we
flavor.
been on topic?
We haven't been
I mean,
on
it
topic.
is
Yeah.
kind of on topic though. I think that flavor came out for the 4th of July one year,
I don't know.
and then it just stuck around.
It's terrible.
Well, the Rocket Pop, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's red, white, and blue,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Fago has their soda, red, white, and
Oh.
Rocket Pop soda.
Yeah.
Did you try it?
No.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd probably be like a flavored pineapple or,
Yeesh.
like a cherry or strawberry pineapple or something.
Soda? Pineapple
Yeah.
flavor?
Well, they got cotton candy soda
That's
now, too.
disgusting.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
too much.
My kids will eat that like super kid ice cream that's cotton candy
Oh.
flavored. I'm like, it tastes like you're licking a sugar bowl. It's so sweet. I don't know how anybody does it.
All right, I'm cutting y'all off.
Okay,
Done.
fine.
Yeah,
Done.
we're
We're done.
We can keep it fun.
We're
Nope.
done.
We're
done.
We don't need to
Serious
get into
now.
We don't need to be serious, but
1776 mode.
okay. yeah. Yeah.
Good job keeping it serious.
Got my powdered wig right here.
Right?
I did powder up today. I will tell you that.
You had to.
I'm celebrating early. I was like chalked up like a gymnast today. But I will be for the next, as long as this lasts.
Oh my Lanta.
My apologies for any images that creep in because of that, but
I
hey,
was trying to keep
it is what
myself
it
from
is.
snorting because I was that close to just doing one of those little.
I'm sorry, you got these guys walking around like they just went in their pants. Like, what's the matter with you? I'm chafing.
Powdered up like a gymnast.
Yeah, just all chalked up. Like, yep, I just forgot to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's bad.
And to dismount.
Oh
my goodness.
Okay,
25 minutes.
25 minutes. I didn't expect anything less.
Right?
That's why Dale was like, "Are we going to do 2 episodes?" I'm like, "No."
He was like,
I'm like,
No.
this is not going to.
No.
Yeah, he
Not going
already-
over well.
He called this.
We're not going to try to cut this off early. We're not going to do that.
Nope.
Okay, so America 250, right? We've been around 250 years. So,
Not us.
well,
Not.
speak for yourself.
No. I'm close.
The country.
And so I wanted to do something, obviously, for the 250th anniversary for Independence Day. And I just happened to come across this interview with Katie Couric, and she's interviewing this historian by the name of Timothy Snyder. And if you get about 40 minutes in, they start to discuss the idea of Christian nationalism. And they kept using the word alarming to describe the idea that most Republicans are in the majority, that they believe this country was founded in Christian principle, should be guided by Christian principle, and in fact, we should be declared a Christian nation. And Timothy Snyder said that basically that history has not been taught to young people, well, basically everybody. They've been told a lie
I can agree with that.
that this country was founded on Christian principle. And he said it's absolutely ridiculous. It's just not true. And I, of course, am on the side that I can take argument with you there. And we can all have a discussion whether we want to talk about just the founders. We want to talk about Washington and Jefferson and Madison and what their spiritual beliefs were. And we could spend hours trying to dissect all of that. I mean, there's plenty of documents that we can point to that they're mentioning God. They're using God as a guiding principle during the Revolution
Oh, yeah.
and during the founding of the country. And, but what I really wanted to point to, almost to go to something a little bit different, is the fact that, this is we the people. This is a democracy that was founded for the people. And when you talk about the people, our colonists are coming over from England, and they're doing that to escape the Church of England, to escape the kind of oppression that they're going through, to where they had to they had to worship a certain way. And all their worship, of course, all profits went back to, and I don't care what you're talking about, whether it's monetary, or social, all those things. Everything goes back to the Church of England. So it was almost like a business. So you didn't have the freedom to worship the way that you felt you should worship. So that was a big sticking point with them, and that's why a lot of them would take the huge risk of traveling from England,
Right.
which I think we could take that for granted. They put their lives in jeopardy to cross the Atlantic, to come to this country.
Yeah.
And for one of those main reasons is so that they could worship in the way that they felt, was appropriate, the way that they wanted to worship, and they wouldn't be encumbered by, this political system that was forcing them to do it a certain way and making them live a certain way and pay the Church of England a certain amount of tax for their worship.
Yeah.
So I would think that in itself is a good indication that as people are coming to this country, they are worshiping as Christian people. And of course, I think one of the, and it's really, I think it really says a lot about the American people that, okay, we don't always agree on how you worship under Christian principle. We have a lot of different ideas about how that's done.
Yeah.
But no matter who, no matter if it's a Methodist, a Protestant, a Catholic, whoever, you're still guided under Christian principle.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there can be any argument that as a people who founded this country, who built the towns up, that created all the business, that the complete livelihood that this country has, I think was built on the backs of Christians. I think it's just, I don't think we can miss that point.
I think it still is.
And it still is.
Yeah.
So the fact that Timothy Snyder's trying to say there is no basis in fact whatsoever to that we're a Christian society and we're based on that, I have to disagree with.
So, Syd, did you listen to that?
I did not.
Okay, so I wish you would have.
I know.
There are points that I think you and I will agree on that we may not all agree on. But here was the question that I wrote down for myself when I started to think about this. And it was this one. This was the first question, but it goes a little deeper. So when did all of this go wrong? So, and what I mean by that is, if we were founded on Christian principles, we left England, came over here, built colonies, started a country under the impression or under the desire that there would be freedom of religion, right? Generally speaking, I want to put a broad cap on that, freedom of religion. When did we go wrong with where the church stands today? Because the church today is strongly disliked by a lot of people. Now, not by everybody, but by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong?
I would say it's depending on when you say where did we go wrong, in the broad scope of what we were trying to accomplish, and I'd say we loosely because it wasn't me, but when you escape to try and have religious freedom, was that the only freedom that they were searching for? Because in their pursuit to have freedoms, one of the main things that they did was they removed other people's freedoms at the
That was one of my
improvement of their own religion. It was like, I want to be free to worship however I want to, and we're going to push these savages to the edge of this country, so that we can pursue our freedoms. So are you looking at yourself as you're doing the things that you're doing in the name of your own religion? You're saying, I want to be free from this to do what I want, how I want religiously.
Ooh.
But
you got it.
Yes, but I don't want you to do your own thing your own way.
Okay.
Well, and what I was thinking with all of that, like whenever we came over here, did we realize, hey, we're going to have these Native Americans that are already here and we're going to have this issue? I don't think we know, I don't think we realized that. And then it's like, oh, wait, we've got this big debacle. What's going to happen? Then we started pushing and pushing. And we're still pushing and pushing. And now we're, everyone's out west. And I mean, they're trying to protect a bunch of those lands, but there's protesters that are trying to save things, and then there's government officials that just keep pushing and pushing. And how many 250 years later?
So let's go to 1950s ish.
Yeah.
What happened on Sunday? Everybody went to church.
Everybody went to church.
Everybody.
And everything was closed down.
Now, there were some people who may not have gone to church, but they were not anti-Christian. They just didn't go to church, right? Generally speaking, the thing to do on Sunday was to go to church, gather with your family after, and spend time. Here's what I think killed us. The pursuit for freedom became a pursuit for personal freedoms and a freedom of choice that then ultimately eliminated the freedom to actually go and worship, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody stopped going to church. When you were told, okay, places started staying open on Sunday, right? So now you have a choice. You can either go see a movie on Sunday or you can go to church on Sunday. Where are teenagers going to go?
For the movie.
Where they are entertained,
Yep.
right? And so then those teenagers grow up, raise children who don't value being at church on Sunday, who are going to grow up and raise children who don't even know about going to church on Sunday, who are going to grow up and raise children who don't even know Jesus,
Yes.
right? And that's kind of the point in which I think we have reached, where we've created this religious freedom or this freedom of religion, which has really become a freedom from religion.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't disagree that religion can be inherently dangerous. I think we talk about religion versus relationship, and we can do that for a long time. But I think what we've done is we've created this freedom from religion rather than a freedom of religion.
Yeah.
And now people are like, well, I don't have to believe what you believe. And now you go to Minnesota and you look that most of their churches aren't even Christian churches anymore. There are, Minneapolis is like, and there are plenty of those that can be used as examples. And I think the founding fathers created this idea of freedom of religion, but they didn't consider what would happen later when other people arrive and want to be free to worship how they want to worship, right? I can't possibly fathom how Muslims can have prayer calls, and I don't fully understand this, so I'm not trying to profess to be an expert, but like these speakers play this prayer call in these Muslim communities, and if you're non-Muslim living in that community, and you have to be okay with it, but you can't have an LED sign in front of your church because it may be offensive to said Muslims, right? That's like, it's a little bit mind-blowing to me. But we also can't really be mad about that because there is a freedom to worship how you want to worship, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's where the push is at right now. I saw recently a city council allowed a satanic group to come in and pray before their meeting because they had to allow equal opportunity for every organization to come in and pray. I listened to the prayer and I was shaken to the core as to what they said and what they thought.
Was it local?
No.
Yeah,
and I will tell you, that's one of the perks we have of being in small town USA.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there
really
would be
is.
tremendous pushback on something like that in this area.
And I don't know that it would. Those groups don't generally exist here.
Exactly.
Right.
No,
So
they don't.
I think there's a difference. Okay, so then, I think that the freedom of choice has killed the freedom of religion, right?
Absolutely.
And
So-
made it freedom from religion.
Freedom from religion, correct. But I also blame the parents who have said it's okay to skip church to go to a birthday
Well, I
party.
was going to say,
go
I
to
think the
dance.
breakdown of family.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think the breakdown of family came from that freedom of choice that we've been given to our children. If you don't want to come home for dinner, that's fine. Oh, you want to spend the night at your boyfriend's house? That's fine. In what world is it okay for a high schooler to spend the night at their significant other's? Like, I don't understand that.
That would never happen at my
No.
When I was growing up and I had a girlfriend or a friend who was a girl, wasn't really a girlfriend.
You didn't even go to your bedroom.
She couldn't go upstairs. She couldn't, it's like, where do you think she's going?
Yeah.
But we're just going to do homework.
Nope.
No.
Right there at the dining room table,
Yep.
you are.
Dining room table, and you're sitting on this side, and she's sitting over here. You're not touching hands, and you better just be discussing history.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I find it interesting that, and I've said this before, that for most Americans, in the late 1700s, early 1800s, if you had one book in the house, it was the Bible.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't afford books. You couldn't afford all this extra luxury.
Yeah.
But you had one book in the house, and it was the Bible. And so when everybody came in for the day, instead of turning on the TV, instead of having all these other distractions, guess what? Everybody sat around and read from the Bible.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that is also very telling, is that, okay, of all the things that these early colonists found as a priority, and the early pioneers as we started to move out west, it was the fact that, okay, if we have anything, we have to have the Bible in the house. You know, everything else comes if we're blessed to, afford it.
So I just did a quick Google search because when you said that, it's one of the things that I believe very strongly. We have 3 TVs in our house. Most people have TVs in their kids' bedrooms.
Yeah.
We don't, and my wife is adamant that will never
Yeah,
happen.
Chase keeps, Cooper needs, I said, no, he does not need one in his room. No.
Nope. So we have one in the family room in the basement, and the only reason it exists down there, so if the kids want to play a video game and we want to watch TV, we can do that upstairs. And then there's one in Alyssa and I's bedroom, which usually her and I will watch in the evenings, but
Yeah, right before you go to
no,
bed.
it's not used regularly. Even our living room TV is used in the morning by the kids. It's like that Saturday morning cartoons, and then it's off the rest of the day. There have been 817,000 surplus of 817,000 television shows developed since TV started.
Gee.
817,000 plus. I mean, that's a ballpark number. There's no exact count.
Crazy.
817,000. So there's 817,000 television shows that you can choose to
That's not
watch.
even counting movies.
No, that's just TV shows. Now, here's the problem with that. 817,000, and none of them are worth watching most of the time.
Correct.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
But in my house, my wife has 4 or 5 shows that she enjoys to watch. I have a handful that I enjoy to watch, but they're not the same show. 817,000, we don't have one in common. And what happens is then when I decide to turn on the TV in the living room to watch
She's going out.
Resident Alien or whatever weird show I've picked for this week,
Love that show.
she goes to the bedroom to watch something else. The kids are all on their tablets in their bedrooms, and
That's the norm now.
We limit their tablet time, but the degrading family landscape is really what has created, in my opinion, the dying church.
Yeah.
The death to the church came with the advancement of technology, and it's why churches, and there are so many people that are like, churches shouldn't entertain people. We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
Honestly, we
if
have
I
to.
am not entertaining, like last week, for those of you who were here, I think all of you were here last week.
Yeah.
When I broke out the cowboy hat and the
Yes.
fanny pack, like that, just that moment, but it got everybody's attention enough to say, I can pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If pastors are, and I watch Baptist preachers and they're, hellfire and brimstone and, whatever, that's fine. But if you look, they're not drawing large congregations. It is not to fill the building, but it's to draw people to the body. It's to draw people to Christ. And you can't do it without a little flair sometimes because...
And if I can say something about that, it's like when I watch that, and you're an entertaining person as far as when you're preaching, without making the effort.
I don't have to have
do
the
it.
spectacle.
Yeah, you don't have to. But the thing is, when I was watching that, and you put the fanny pack, Spencer, my son, wears a fanny pack. And so it's like instantly relatable. I'm instantly brought in, and you have to sometimes, like you said, have to do things like that because people need something relatable.
Well-
and they're like, and you brought in your whole vacation thing.
Yep.
People go on vacation, so
Exactly.
they could instantly. I carry the backpack all the time, and you know what I mean. And you say things
most
in
people,
that moment.
most people, like in the 80s and 90s when we would vacation, my dad always had a fanny pack. Like that was where you kept all the things. Like it wasn't uncommon for that to be the case. So whenever I went on vacation and I bought my first fanny pack, my wife was like, "This isn't happening. You're not like you're not wearing that."
Yeah.
So I had to hide it in the packing on this next trip. I kept telling her I was going to wear a cowboy hat and a fanny pack and my Crocs on vacation. She said, "You're doing none of that."
you
And I did all of it. And I did all of it. Okay, so then to my next point. One of the things that I hear a lot is that the Constitution says that there's a separation of church and state. That is not true. What it says is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
Yeah.
The statement of separation between the church and the state actually comes from a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to a Baptist association, reassuring them that the government could not stop what they were doing.
Exactly.
Come on, folks.
Yeah. And the history books point to, and there's a book that I've got a few points to make from. But when that first happened, a lot of the churches were kind of concerned at first because like, oh, now the government's not going to support us. Now we're going to have to do all this stuff on our own. And the great point was made that was actually a huge benefit, that now that they were free from government, being under their thumb, they could go out and spread the word and do anything they wanted to do without the government saying, you can't do this, you can't do
Stepping
that.
on their toes.
So in the end, it actually helped grow the Christian community across the nation because they were allowed to go out and do things the way they
and not
they
be
felt
afraid,
and not be afraid and not be restricted.
But can we agree that then our concern was, are you Protestant? Are you Catholic? Are you like everything still kind of came back to the same place?
Yeah.
Because if you look at it now we're all willing to work together, right? Which wasn't
For the
always
most
the
part,
case.
yeah.
Which wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever anticipated Sharia law. I don't think they ever anticipated all of these other religions that we're now seeing. And so the problem that I think we have is that we grew the Christian faith. That was easy to do because that's what everybody knew, right? It was some form of Christianity. It wasn't really anything outside of that.
And I think we're all willing to work together now because we're like scared. Like,
well, there's a common goal, which it should have always been that way.
Yeah.
But I think that then the enemy was another denomination, whereas now the enemy is another religion. And I think eventually we'll learn that it's not all, we don't always have to have it our way. Now, I'm not telling you that any of those things are acceptable because I don't believe that they are. I think that Jesus is the only answer. He's the only way to heaven. And I genuinely believe that. So take nothing that I say in this conversation out of context. But I think that we are so bent on proving that we're right that we're willing to trample other people in order to get there,
to alienate
right?
people
I agree.
just to show that you're right.
Correct. Yeah. And we don't do it. And there are times that the church needs to be gentle and there are times that the church needs to be bold. I think we're in a time where the church needs to be bold, but I think we can be bold and we can still be humble. Right? I don't think bold means bulldozing a mosque. I don't think bold means...
See, and that's what I think when people, when God calls us to be meek, but meek is not weak, because a lot of people, I believe, when they say, well, he's very meek or she's very meek, they equate that with you being weak.
Correct.
No, I'm not. I'm meek, as in I come to you humbly and I come to you in love. But make no mistake, what I believe firmly. And so my meekness is not weak. My meekness is that I want you to come along with me, come alongside me, and let's explore Jesus and be humble together and I value your opinion. I value what you say, but Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so, yes, I'm meek, but Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and that's how I'm going to stand.
Yeah, well, and I think the problem is, it's one thing to say I respect your religion.
Yeah.
That you respect religion.
Yes.
You don't trample on other people. But what's happening now is we are going to deny religion. We're going to deny Jesus Christ because it's an end game to our own selfish wants and desires. So with all this social upheaval, a lot of it now is we can't talk about God because it puts in danger, the social issues that we're trying to put forth. We can't include God in these things because if you include God, then it doesn't work. It doesn't stand up on its own. Mm-hmm. And I think that would, in most cases, whether, you're a Christian or you're a Buddhist or you're a Muslim, you would probably in some degree agree with that idea that it is the fact that people are trying to take religion out of their lives so that they can push forward these social issues that they feel are above any idea of Christianity or another form of religion that might hold them back, that might hold them accountable to some.
I always struggle with that. Struggle with that because I don't see people railing against Buddhism. I don't see people railing against Islam or against anything other than when you start talking Jesus. And you say come be filled with the Holy Spirit, then it's like, what's wrong with you? Why do I have to come to him, and why is he the only one? And then that gets attacked. But I very rarely see anybody attacking Hinduism.
I don't disagree with the statement generally. I disagree with the statement, though, at a basis of saying that if I were to go and talk to a Muslim or a Buddhist or, heck, even a Methodist being a Pentecostal, if I were to go and have a conversation with them about my religion, I have never once ever had anybody say, you can't say that to me. I've never once had anybody. Yeah. But what I see more often than not is when a Muslim person tries to talk about their religion to a Christian, and then the Christian turns around and says, no, you're wrong.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. Like, why do we think everyone gets this impression or like expression when we bring up Jesus? Like, because I have two cousins that are like, almost like taunting anytime I bring up Jesus, and I think back, well, what did it, society as a whole, how did we go wrong? How did we push this so much to where they are now turning it into making him like some evil man? You know what I mean?
Here's what happened. My opinion. Yeah. Just my opinion. There are pastors, and I'll use names because I don't care. He can't sue me.
Yeah.
Right.
People like Greg Locke.
Yeah.
Who go hard and blame everything that happens in the world on other religions rather than just saying like, hey, we've missed the mark as a race of humans, as people that God has put on the earth. We have missed the mark. They start pointing fingers. And when we start pointing fingers, we divide
the people
who are all of Christ. Here's the thing. If somebody is Hindu, if somebody is Muslim, if somebody is, it doesn't matter. If we as Christians believe that God has put everybody on earth, then they are children of God, and it is our responsibility to show them the love of Christ and to allow them to see why we believe in Jesus and why we follow Jesus. We can't, if our desire is to beat them with a stick into submission, we will never win. It's never
going to happen, because my mom used to try and get me, like, you do your homework, or you do this, or you got chores to do, and you didn't do it. Hit you with that stick, and I still didn't do those chores that I was supposed to, and that stick did not help.
There will always be extreme groups on either side. There will always be extreme Christians. There will always be extreme other religions.
Absolutely.
But those are the ones that you see in the news. Those are the ones that are made prominent. We don't make prominent the small town church who's out helping veterans. We don't make note of the small town church who is supporting the widows. And like, that's what we're called to do, right?
Yeah.
And so my responsibility is not to start a YouTube channel that has 150 million followers that then dissect everything that I preach. My calling is to the community that God has placed me in. Amen. And when I can make a difference in this community, those people, I said this to one of our congregants the other day who asked me if they could go to another church on Sunday morning and do something. And I said to them, I had to pray about it, because my immediate answer was not on a Sunday. Because why? Why are they asking you to do it on a Sunday? Right. This is a teachable item that could be done on a Wednesday night. It could be done on a Friday night. It could be done on Saturday morning. It doesn't have to be Sunday. So my question is, what's that pastor's intention?
Right.
However, my calling is to equip and deploy disciples of Christ into the world.
Yeah.
And if Sunday morning is when they want to do it, you go with my blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do as a pastor, because the immediate thought is what if they go there and they like it better?
Right.
What if they get elevated to a platform that I'm not willing to elevate them to, and they start going there now?
Yeah. We had that same thing to the opposite side, because I was asked to sing at my old church, and I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I asked Pastor, and I thought about it and I prayed on it, and I was like, what was I going to affect?
Yeah.
Was I going to affect was my being there going to affect any change in that church, or was it it going to uplift, whatever? And I was like, I don't really feel that it was necessary for me to do that.
Yeah.
And so I declined the invitation.
And this person declined the Sunday morning invitation. They said, I appreciate the offer, but I would rather do this on another night of the week. I'd rather be in my home church on Sunday. Now, that feels good as a pastor, but at the same time, I don't want anybody to ever not feel like they can go out and be deployed.
Sure. Yeah.
But here's the difference. Following that that order, where when the question was asked, it was asked politely, and it said, I want your blessing before going. Not like, hey, I've been invited and I really want to do this. Because then my no is hurtful. Even if my no was, you're not ready,
Absolutely.
it feels hurtful, right? But they came at it from a humble place. I feel like we as Christians, we fail at it. I think that we get
harsh.
We get too worked up in our own feelings and our own beliefs. And when I say in our own beliefs, one of the things that we have in this church, and you guys may not believe this, some of you will, but I don't think everybody will. This church is about 60-40 as far as political affiliation. It's about a 60-40
I believe that.
Yes.
in this building. Okay. Now, we don't know that because that's not how we relate
discuss
to one another, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's not how we relate. Have you ever seen me go to the pulpit and ever preach politics?
No.
And I never will.
Nope. I don't
And
think
there
we
are
should.
people who say that I should. They believe that religion should have a place in politics. I'm not disagreeing that I shouldn't have my own beliefs and I should be rooted in those, very strongly rooted in
But
those.
I don't think you need to be preaching.
But
like
it's not
that's
my
it's a different agenda.
responsibility. It is not my responsibility to convince you one way or another
Right.
from the pulpit.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to pray that God will convict you and open your heart and that you will do what God has called you to do.
There you go.
That's not easy as a pastor to say. I had another guy say that, or another pastor, he was on this kick and he said that, you know what, I don't want to quote him but it was very specific that we think as Christians that we have a responsibility to political party, but we have a responsibility to the kingdom of God. The responsibility to the kingdom of God is to bring in all people, not just people that we agree with.
Yes.
And that's a hard
is-
fact.
It is.
And I think a lot of the older churches are more prone to bringing in the people that they know will agree with them
Yep.
or they know are similar to them, and I think that's why we are so unique here. Because like you said, all the time, like we love the unlovely,
Yeah.
and it's just a unique process that we, are
It
able
is.
to do.
And I think when you look at our church, I think it's kind of interesting the way that we're growing, because we are experiencing growth, and it's an odd kind of growth that most other churches don't have, because we have children. I mean, like baby children.
So many kids.
Yeah. And we have young adults, and I mean like really young adults with these kids. And then we have, those, I would say like Nick's age. And then we have like seniors like me.
Legacy
Legacy.
members.
Yeah, legacy members.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't see that at a lot of churches, because you either find one or the other. You either find a bunch of young people,
But I think
or you see
we're growing like
legacy members.
we're growing in each department, like legacy members. We've gotten a couple over the
new
past
legacy
years. That's what I'm
members,
saying.
which is bizarre.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
doesn't
We've
happen.
gotten like the middle age the past couple years. We've gotten the younger adults. Obviously, we've gotten kids because they just keep popping them out.
Well, and there are the new, even middle-aged families that are arriving with children who are
Yes.
aged out of what we would consider our kids program. They've aged out of that program, but they still are. Now they're in the sanctuary, and it's
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's amazing to me the pockets of people
I
that we
agree.
have, and it's you go to other churches and it's just not the same. And I think it's because of, like you said, Syd, we love the unlovely. You cannot come into our church and not be welcome.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a gentleman come in, and he was determined, I think, when he came in, determined to cause turmoil. But had he given us a chance, you guys know who I'm talking
Oh, yeah.
about.
I know exactly what you're
But
talking about.
had he given us a chance, had he just come in not to disrupt, which is what I think he came in to do, had he come in not to disrupt, but to genuinely understand and to be understood, he would have found a new home.
Yeah.
He would have said, these people love me for who I am.
Yep.
These people will lead me and guide me to the best of their ability to who I need to be. But he came in, and he came in guns blazing. And he came in with his idea of,
With an agenda.
yes, he came in with his idea of what this church was, who we were, and what we could and couldn't do for him.
Well, no, he came in that way thinking that that's how every church is.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of people also have the same mindset as all churches are the same and they need to help me. Or, and clearly this guy had mental health issues
Yeah.
or
He did.
substance abuse issues or together,
without
But even without that going on, just normal people that are Jesus haters, we'll just say, like, they all just look at all these churches, doesn't matter what kind of not congregation, what am I thinking of? Not religion. Jeez. Oh my goodness.
I have
Doctrine?
no idea where
What?
it's going.
Doctrine?
No.
Belief?
Pentecostal.
Oh, denomination.
Yeah, doesn't matter what kind of denomination.
was
They
getting ready
look
to
at
ask
us
for a
all.
vowel.
Yeah. they look at us
like.
all the same, and it's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
No,
One of the things, and Syd, you're well aware of this situation. One of the things that I think as a pastor I had to learn how to do very early on was navigate people who don't like other people inside of the church, and that is not fun.
Yeah.
That is probably the one part of the job, quote unquote, that I have that I absolutely hate. I always feel like I'm navigating everybody's emotions towards other people. So, at one point, I had a church council member, and there were people in the community who didn't necessarily like this church council member. And so they took it upon themselves to write a really long, lengthy letter about their disdain towards this council member. And basically they had nothing nice to say, but they wouldn't even sign the letter. Well, little did they know, we have security cameras out front. So I was able to snatch a picture of the vehicle, and I immediately identified the person, knew exactly who it was. And I had two options. It was go hot, drive to their house, kick them in the shin, or just simply say, you know what? They can feel that way, but that's not how I feel,
Yeah.
and walk away. And that's exactly what I did. They never argued again. They never said another word. It never got any further than that. And I think sometimes we want to defend Jesus to people who will never believe or understand Jesus because they don't want to. It's a choice at that point, right? It's a choice.
Absolutely.
And so we want to defend Jesus. And the one thing that I'm learning is that I don't have to defend Jesus. I don't have to even, one of the hardest things in the world is not defending yourself when you should darn well be defending yourself.
Yes,
Right?
I agree.
To sit there with your mouth
Yeah.
shut, say nothing, and smile while it happens. It is hard,
Yep.
but you learn that if I can do that, if I can sit with humility when somebody is trying to pretend like I'm the problem, you learn really, really quickly that if I can do that in this situation, certainly I can show the love of Christ without ever having to fight for Jesus.
Yeah.
I can lift him up. I can pray for you in the name of Jesus. I can do all of these things, but I never have to argue the gospel with you.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, is to be able to show Jesus instead of
I don't have to tell you about him. I need to show him to you.
Yeah, instead of box with people and say like,
Yeah.
this is Jesus. This is, I'm like, no, that's not. And if you can show in your personality and your desire to be humble, then that goes a long way to show somebody Jesus, because they'll have this idea. Everybody has this idea of who you are. Mm-hmm. And so to show them, your idea of me is unimportant. Your idea of what you think I'm about and what I think is important doesn't mean anything. What's important is how I'm viewed in the kingdom, mm-hmm. how I'm viewed by my Lord and Savior. He's like, this is my child in whom I am well pleased. Yeah, I know he didn't say that to me, but I'm just saying I hope to hear that. That's all I'm concerned about, is his opinion of me, not your opinion of me, because you're going to base your opinion of me on any number of things. Oh, he's short, he's stupid, he's ugly, or whatever.
He's bald.
Yeah, he's bald. Get some hair on that head. But, you're going to base it on all these things, whereas God bases it on my heart. And he says, that's Dale, that's my beloved. And so if you can come at people the same way, you're his beloved, as opposed to, you're not in my church, you're not in my group, you're not in my section, then you win more people to him that way, as opposed to being, gritty with everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's what he calls us to do, is come to each other in love. Yeah. And if you can do that, you turn somebody's heart instantly.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, with like showing Jesus versus telling them about Jesus, like, you don't, I think Pastor Michael was talking a few weeks ago about how he was going to, what were you doing? Like going into a chocolate shop and they needed the cash instead of, like you were like, I'm just trying to be more intentional.
Yes, intentional about human interaction.
Yes. And that's a big thing that I try to do to show Jesus. That way, like, I try to never use self-checkout. That way I can form a relationship with the lady that I'm at the dollar store, 5 times a week or something. That way I can show, like, then she can see, hey, something's different about her. And then if she starts asking, then I can start telling, but I don't want to shove it down their throat.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So I try to do small baby steps like that in order to show Jesus.
And that becomes an ineffective method of trying to get someone to see what Jesus is about, when you begin to shove it down their throat, because the first thing you do when you try to shove anything down somebody's throat, is they want to.
Well, they're going to fight.
Yeah, they're going to resist with all they got. You're just like, no, I don't want it.
It's like telling your kid, you're going to sit there and eat that
and take this medicine,
and they're not going to sit there and eat
spinach or else.
I'm going to give you a second, Nick, because you were getting ready to say something. I wrote a note down because I want to come back to what you were just saying.
Well, so let's talk about the kids. So the other thing that Katie Couric felt was alarming was the fact that there were still too many schools that were posting the 10 Commandments. And so this to her was a huge problem, apparently, in our American society, that we're still pushing the idea of God onto young children. And, I grew up with, one flag under God. And I'm not sure, I'm thinking maybe late 90s, early 2000s is when the shift started to happen, to where they wanted to start pushing that out, and the kids didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore.
I don't remember that. We always said the pledge.
Yeah, we always said the pledge.
I graduated in 2004, and I graduated don't remember.
In 2015. I think Shy, whenever she was, I want to say maybe in high school, I started seeing people not stand up and stuff, but they still said it every single, they still played it. They still made us say it. Like, you didn't get whipped or anything if you didn't stand and say it, but they still were playing it. You know what I mean?
How have we gone from a society to where that was standard practice, across the nation, that in school, kids observed, God and, and had the habit of observing God on a daily basis, blessing our country, to, you can't say that. You can't talk about that.
I would like to challenge anybody sitting in this room or anybody who is listening to go find an elementary school student, have them recite the pledge, because chances are they can. They may not do it daily at school, but chances are they've learned it, and ask them what it actually means.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure.
That's what I was just about to get at.
Because here's the problem. It's recitation. It is not. It's memorization.
Yeah. Yes.
It is not
It's just like ABCs.
actual belief anymore.
Right.
I don't think that
Even when we were taught, I don't think we were ever taught like
why
the
What-
meaning
what
or
does it
why.
mean? It
We were
was,
just taught
this is
the
what
words.
You do. This is what you do.
Well, that's like when you get somebody and you say your ABCs. They automatically go to the song A, B,
Right,
C.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the question then needs to be asked, because I think it's just Katie Couric's problem, is that, okay, you're asking children to do something that they don't even understand.
So I agree with Katie to a certain degree. Now, I don't agree with that we shouldn't do it. I think that's asinine, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's
That
bizarre.
we're forcing something on them that...
But I am not forcing you to believe in my God. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't think having our kids say the Pledge of Allegiance is.
I understand one nation
that.
under God. It triggers people. I get it. We're in a triggered
And that's
society
what I'm saying.
now.
Is like, when did that start to trigger
To trigger so
society
much.
in the majority to
Yeah.
where we are now dispelling this from...
When we became
Our
extreme
school
on
system.
both sides.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
I
when.
agree.
And pick a year. I would say let's go back to the election of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I think that's when we really started
Honestly.
to see heavy political divide.
Yeah.
I think there's always been like, I don't agree with you, but it was like, it became hateful
And I found that sad.
during that election.
Yeah.
I really did, because I'm going to tell you what my opinion of America was before that happened. Because I grew up in
You
this
were
small
probably
town.
excited.
I grew up in this small town, and I sat there and I thought, we're going to have a black president.
Right.
And then I can tell my kids, you can be president. You can be you can do anything. You can reach the top
Yeah.
of this country. And then he became president. And don't get me wrong, I'm not big Barack pusher. I'm not, I like him as a president. I thought he did a decent job. But I was caught up in what that meant for my kids and my nephews. And
Which you should
and
have.
that's okay.
I think you should have.
I think everybody should.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, we'll never have another black president.
But-
we'll never, and I look at my country and I saw this automatic split. And I'm like,
And it wasn't about race.
yeah.
No.
It wasn't about race.
No. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
It became about race because we were afraid for it to be about anything else. It was easy to make it because he's a black man.
Yep. Yeah.
Listen, I didn't vote for Barack Obama, but I thought Barack Obama was a pretty good president.
Yeah.
I loved the tan suit debacle.
Yeah.
Like, to me, and I'm not a political aficionado by any stretch of the imagination. We can talk about all of the things that are supposedly not his birth certificate, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? We can get into that. But I think we create diversion in order to create dissent. We create the diversion of the birth certificate. We create the diversion of whatever in order to create dissent. And then we create hate out of that dissent. And then all of a sudden we can't see things the same way. Right? Now, here's the thing that I'll say, though. I think that we can all agree that when we see certain things politically, we go, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't feel like we can acknowledge it if we're on the side of that person. So, like, if you were a Barack Obama supporter, or even let's just use Joe Biden, for example. I think we can all agree that after the debate, everybody knew Joe Biden was not running for president any longer, right? I think that's fair whether you're on the left or on the right. That was not good, and it was very likely that he was going to drop out of the race.
Yeah.
There were people talking about it. The media was talking about it. It was pretty clear that was going to happen, right? But those who were far Democrat supporters, they couldn't say that out loud, because if they did, then they weren't being loyal to the party.
Right.
At the end of the day, we shouldn't be loyal to the party. We should be loyal to the country and what's best for the country.
Not
right?
for the party.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that Katie Couric said that and I think that she could have said this about any president, so I want to be very clear about that, but she was like, there are people who will basically support Donald Trump no matter what he does. I agree with that.
I
And
agree.
it's a scary place
It is
to
very
be.
scary because that's like brainwashing. Like, that is legit
So-
cult like behavior.
Now I think about the schools. Okay, so I'm bringing this back to our conversation. When you walk into a school that has the 10 Commandments posted, you walk 3 classrooms down, and there's a gay pride flag hanging in a teacher's classroom, which is okay.
They're both, I guess.
Because if we're going to talk about freedoms and the freedom of speech and expression and all of the things, then we can't be mad about that flag hanging there if we want to hang the 10 Commandments. Now, I'm not saying I have to support the flag.
Exactly.
But that teacher also doesn't have to support what's hanging on the wall, right?
Right.
I think the problem is if we put it in the school,
you have to.
We have to understand that the kids are going to see it, ask questions, and we
you
have to be prepared to answer those questions.
What I started to say. I started to say, if you have the 10 Commandments but you don't have understanding, that's kind of pointless. If you have the flag in there without the understanding, it's kind of pointless, because then
kids ask questions.
Yeah, you're left to your own devices, because the adult in the room doesn't want to cover it. The adult in the room doesn't want to tell you what the 10 Commandments mean. The adult in the room doesn't want to tell you what that represents. And so then that kid is like, well, I will just figure it out on my own.
So then the extension of that conversation was, and I'm sure you guys have seen this just recently in the news, there was a teacher who was in a lot of trouble because she decided that it was a good idea to have female students kiss one another in class and then write reports about it.
Oh my!
No,
she's in jail, rightfully so. Because it is not the responsibility of a teacher in any way, shape, or form to ever teach children about those types of things.
Nope.
But parents are so afraid of those conversations that who's going to
teach?
Who's going to do it?
And
so my kids are homeschooled.
That's what I was about to say. Like, that's why you probably homeschool.
My kids are homeschooled. And so I remember my wife and I having a conversation, and we decided it was time to have the conversation with our oldest. And I remember I did all of my homework. I got
Are you talking Emmett?
Yes.
Okay.
I got as prepared as one might be able to get. Right? I got a workbook for dads and like, I'm serious. Like, I was like, because this is my first time. My oldest two boys, I didn't get to
like dissecting everything.
Right? Don't laugh if I don't follow the same thing with us.
So I don't blame you. So I walked into his bedroom. I said, hey, I want to talk to you about something. And I sit down and we start this conversation. And he is immediately embarrassed. And I said, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. I said, these are conversations that you and I need to have because you need to understand it. And I said to him, parents, just so you know, if you have children listening, you might want to pause for just a moment. I said to him, do you know what sex is? He goes, well, yeah, like I'm a boy and girls are girls. Like, and so I was like, okay, we really need to have a conversation because if that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've got a gap here.
Yeah.
And so he and I talked, and we probably talked for about 45 minutes. And I said, do you have any more questions? He said, no. I said, if you do, grab me before bed. I'll come down to your room and we can have a chat about it. The next night he came into my room. He's like, Dad, can you come downstairs for a minute? And the gates just broke open, right? And so we talked about homosexuality. We talked about like all of the things that are like taboo conversations. But the thing is we do that in private, where he can ask the questions and be comfortable.
Yep.
If he were in public school and walked in and saw that flag, and like those are things that my kids are genuinely sheltered from.
Yeah.
They don't watch the news. They don't have social media. They don't see those things.
Yeah.
I think as adults, we become offended by those things, but most of the time our children have no idea what it is.
Yeah, and we become offended because we're not taking initiative to explain it.
Correct.
And
we don't.
And they get exposed to it. Well, of course they're going to get exposed.
It goes back to Nick's point.
But again,
the family unit is so
it
broken.
is.
Yeah.
And through social media, nothing is taboo anymore.
No.
Nothing is.
Nope.
So I think for young people, it's like there is no dividing line between,
No.
I don't want to say right and wrong, but
we make jokes.
All the lines are blurred.
We make jokes about things that are not jokeable.
Yeah.
After that that medical CEO got killed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
The
remember.
United Healthcare one?
Yeah.
I
hate to admit that I don't remember his name, but
I
it eludes me. But people were cheering that he got murdered because he rejects people's. I'm like, this is bizarre to me. Like, we are excited about the death of other people. Like, even I was watching a video of one of the SEALs who was on the mission to kill Osama bin Laden. The goal was not to kill Osama bin Laden. The goal was dead or alive, right? If we can capture, we will capture. If we have to kill him, we'll kill him. But either way, dead or alive, right? And how serious they took that when they took his life. That was not a joke for them.
Yeah.
It was not exciting. It was not, and I'm sure there was some adrenaline, and I'm sure there was like,
Yeah,
some,
for
we
sure.
did it, we completed the mission, but it was not about killing him, right? They were tasked with an unthinkable task, and they weren't excited to do it. Somebody to just take the life of another person, and then the internet to laugh about it.
The value on humanity,
Or even the
that we
Charlie
lack.
Kirk thing, you
Yes.
know, it's everything's getting exposed, and everyone just keeps watching it, and then everyone, you know, hey, let's get on Facebook, and
And you
the
can,
very
I won't-
first thing you see, and it's like,
I
why?
won't watch any videos of Charlie
No.
Kirk right now
No.
because
I won't.
I'm so terrified that I'll see that video. And it's not because of him. It's like not because it was
Because
Charlie
of the
Kirk.
internet.
But I don't want to see that for anybody.
Yes.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
There were websites whenever I was in high school, you know, when the internet first became a thing.
Yeah.
That you could, it was actually called morbid.com. I'll never forget this as long as I live. You could go in and you could look at the autopsy photos of John F. Kennedy. Nobody should see that.
No.
I think you still can, because I think
I'm
I've
sure you
across
can.
them
Yeah. You can
actually
see-
during the Charlie Kirk stuff.
You can see the pictures of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah,
all of
of
these.
Jane-
why
Jane
why do we
Mansfield,
feel
all
like
of
we
that
need to be
stuff.
readily of that? Because what's happening is we're desensitizing ourselves to the actual idea
Core.
of death, right? Okay, so now I want to share this with you. This is very hard for my family right in this very moment, but you guys saw that there was a 14-year-old killed in an ATV accident yesterday,
Yes.
right? We didn't know this until today. That was a friend of our children.
Oh, I wondered if they were, because it was at Lock 17.
And that is happening so frequently.
Well,
anymore.
it's wild to see. Okay, so I tell Emmett today after church camp, I'm like, hey, man, I just wanted to tell you this happened. And he was like, oh, that's really sad.
Did you tell him who it was?
Yes.
At that point?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know, this happened, and, you know, here's why it happened. That's why when we ride the golf cart, or that's why when
Yeah.
we, like, not that their death should be a teaching moment, but I also want them to understand the value of life, because I think that's the thing that gets disregarded. Emmett he goes, oh, that's really sad. And he sat there for a second, and he was like, so while we were at church camp,
No.
and it just like, that was it. It turned it off.
Yeah.
So I left. Adeline told Easton, and he melted down. He is not the soft kid. He's the one that usually doesn't care about anything. And he melted down. And Emmett processes things differently. And so my wife and I are aware that over the next couple of days, we're going to have conversations with him and talk to him a little bit about it, and, you know, try to get him to open up about it. But the value of that life was so minor, because I also, yesterday, was with the person who picked up the ATV. I was with the tow truck driver that picked up the ATV. That tow truck driver, it didn't faze him at all. Like he
probably sees
sees it all the time. He sees it all the time. But does that mean that you and I should be desensitized to death?
No.
Should we be so excited that somebody else has lost their life over something? If we disagree with each other over religion and politics and are willing to kill each other for that reason, I feel like the country has lost its direction far more than just saying, you know, oh, freedom of religion.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's all boils down to the same thing. It's freedom of choice. We feel like we reserve the right to take a life at our own discretion because, well, I can.
I think it's freedom of choice and mental health.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. We could do a whole episode about mental
But then
health.
that just goes hand in hand.
It's a
I
whole
think.
nother topic.
Yeah. I think we really lost ourselves when we decided that the communities were no longer communities. Because, you know, we talked about this in past episodes, season 1, season 2, whatever. You start talking about like, you know, the newspaper used to be local news. You would get a Times reporter here in Tuscarawas County, good old Tuscarawas County, and it was like, Sally Smith wins frog jumping contest. That's the
I don't
headline,
even
right?
remember Evening Chronicle.
No.
Yeah, because that's way.
So
Clayland Queen.
you get, we're talking about like, hey, this great thing is happening in our community, and you had obituaries and you had the police reports. I loved the police reports.
Me
yeah.
too.
And
Like
those
those
are
are
slog.
The police log,
Yeah.
because those were always so much fun, because
yeah.
it would be like domestic dispute on this street with this and this and this, and you always knew who it was, but they didn't put names.
There's always a little mystery to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that, like, and then sometimes you would see that like the police got there and it was a false alarm. Like it was always kind of silly, or the police had to get a cat out of a tree, whatever.
Yeah.
But there was this like innate, like you read this and there was the like it was your people. You were, chances are you opened that and you saw somebody that you knew.
And you knew right away who it was.
Now, the Times Reporter is owned by some huge publishing company, Akron Beacon Journal, whatever newspapers are in Cleveland, all of that stuff.
And even down towards Cambridge.
Yes. And so now we're getting news that's not relevant to us. I saw one today.
Or reliable.
Right. I saw one today that said, Raising Cane's set to open multiple restaurants this year. This is the Times Reporter. That's the headline, right? So what do you think?
That is going to be around here.
They're talking about other states.
Yeah.
It's not even relevant news. It's not relevant news.
Oh my gosh,
and so
that's so
what's
bad.
happened is our bubble has expanded so big that now, like I just saw today that a 14-year-old was shot in Akron because his dog bit another
That's
kid.
what my sister said.
Like, again, we just feel the freedom to take a life.
Yeah.
Like it's not, and it's punishable by death. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Well,
At this point, murdering another human puts you on death row for a really long time because you get automatic appeals processes that you can't really waive. Like you just have to sit through the process. And now we're putting these people on death row. I am also not a huge proponent of
the death penalty.
the death penalty.
No.
And the reason I am not a huge proponent of it is because you could never convince me to pull the switch, dose the injection. You just couldn't because if I'm going to have to answer for that, that would be really hard for me to do, right? That's my own moral dilemma.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying like if you believe in it, you're wrong. I'm saying that's my own moral dilemma. And I have a person in my life or used to be in my life that honestly said the most awful things to me because when Charlie Kirk was murdered and they're like, he needs to fry, I was like, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
My hope is that he goes to jail for a really long time, but he finds Jesus, turns his life around, and he can enter into the kingdom of heaven just the same as you and I.
Yeah.
Well, and one of my
And when his
things
wife
is
can
like-
say, I forgive him, it's like, well, everybody else has
Yes.
got to step back.
Yeah, right. You don't really get a say at that point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's like we're aware of the little boy that supposedly stole a water bottle and didn't, and he ran from the store or whatever, ran like 130 yards, and the guy followed him and shot him. I'm like, over a water bottle.
There's-
even had he done it.
Over a water bottle.
Yes,
Yep.
even
It's the
had
same.
he done it.
I saw another news article about a little kid that got shot because he had a water gun that he had painted all black.
Yeah.
And it appeared to be a firearm. I'm trying to figure out in what world, and I watched a video of two kids who had taken their dad's gun. They were behind an air conditioner in their home, very narrow space, and the cops are shooting at them, yelling to put down the gun and shooting at them. In what world do we feel like it is responsible to try to shoot a child? Because I understand that they may be a threat. It's a possibility, right? But it's also a much stronger possibility that they are not, that they've done something stupid.
Exactly.
But we're not worried about that. And I'm not a cop. I don't, I can't imagine putting your life in danger constantly.
Yeah.
But most of the time, especially in our community, that's not the case.
Exactly. They're doing something foolish. You're just like, hey, you guys stop doing that. That's confusing.
Yep.
But it just like I said, we don't stop to value what it is we're doing. It's like you're chasing this little 14-year-old kid, and it's a grown man, and I'm like, when is it a point where he's like looking and he says like
what am I doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he goes,
And what if this were my kid?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, he's like, I feared for my life. He's 130 yards away from you, and he's 14. Stop and think about where you are and who you are at that moment. You're like, I'm no longer in danger. And if he comes back in the store, I can say, hey, I don't want you in my store. Leave it at that.
We all have children. Everybody in this room has children. At what point did we realize that in everything that you do, you think about your children in that situation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, I always wanted to be a funeral director. I thought that's what I was going to do. I thought I was going to embalm bodies.
That still amazes me.
And just, that's what I thought I was going to do. I mean, I was 9 years old.
He's probably still on that website every night looking at morbid.com.
No. And see, the thing is, it wasn't even the funeral process. Now I can like I talked to enough funeral directors. I could probably curl your toes with some of the things that they, because body preparation and whatnot. We ain't gonna go there. It's like, right, does it make your skin crawl?
Yeah, kinda.
See, it doesn't bother me.
Kinda, like-
it doesn't bother me. The idea of death doesn't bother me. But I remember the realization that, like, it dawned on me, and I was talking to a funeral director, and she said, the hardest part for me has always been and will always be children. And I said to her, I said, why? She said, because you always see your own kid laying there.
Ugh.
She said, it doesn't matter how many babies you see, how many children you see. You always, it makes you go home and hug your babies just a little bit tighter because you just don't know. And I realized in the moment that, like, I don't know that I could ever do that. I think that, like, if somebody's like, hey, we had a baby die, we need you to do the funeral, I'd have to refuse it because I don't think that my mental health would allow me to do that. But that's when you start to realize that I look at that in every aspect of my life. When I talk to a neighbor kid, I think to myself, would I want another parent talking to my kid that way? Exactly. Right? Yep. Like, we have this little kid in our town. I mean, he's a little snot, but he's funny, but he's always up to something, right? Mm-hmm. And he'll come over and ring the doorbell, and I always answer the door the same way. What, Parker? Every time. It's the same thing every time. And he goes, can Easton come out and play? And Parker, I mean, he's a snot. But he's a kindergartner, right? Yeah. I think he's in first grade now. But he's a force to be reckoned with. He rides around on his little electric dirt bike all over town, all over the place. I mean, he's just something else.
Does he have a blonde mullet by chance?
No. Okay. But I always think to myself, when he shows up at my door, if I treat him the same way that I treat my children, and I care for him the way that I care for my children, my hope is that when my kids go to his house, his parents, maybe they don't, but we also teach my kids, when you get to Parker's house or any of your friends' house, first thing you're going to do is ask the parent, is it okay if I stay here for a little bit? Yeah. If the parent says no, then you need to come home. I don't care what your friend says. Mm-hmm. You need to come home if mom or dad says no. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's where we have to get Elsa to, because
Elsa doesn't hear no.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't hear no. She
only says no. That's where Cooper's at right now.
Elsa and Alyssa had a bout one Sunday after church. Adeline was going somewhere. I don't remember where, but Alyssa had told Elsa Adeline could not come over.
Yeah, I remember that.
70 times she asked, well, can Adeline come? Well, can she come before she goes to, can she come? Connie came in, and Elsa's like, can Adeline come to our house? Adeline wants to come to our house. Can Adeline come to our house? and like, I always do. I mean, that's Elsa's level,
she hit
right?
me with that as well.
But the thing is you also have to, like, Alyssa said to her, Elsa, if you ask me one more time, Adeline's never coming to your house. Because it was the only way to get through to Elsa that the answer is definitely no.
Yes.
Right? And so we have to be able to navigate that. But again, I think oftentimes we want to see other people parent the way that we parent, and they're never going to.
No.
Again, we talk about
they're not supposed to.
Well, but we talk about the decline of the American family. We talk about the fact that we're not connected anymore. There are some kids that show up to my house, that one little boy specifically from down the road, his parents don't know where he's at 90% of the time. The kid doesn't carry. I don't know if they have a GPS tracker in his underwear or what, but they have no idea.
They just don't care.
They have no idea where he's at.
Yeah, we had kids like that in the neighborhood when we were young.
But the difference was we weren't worried about whether or not another kid was carrying a gun on the playground.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, we didn't have a lot of...
The world wasn't as scary.
We didn't have those same fears. Now, we don't have that fear in Janaten, obviously. But this little boy, he'll be at our house till 9:30 at night. I'm bringing my kids in to get in the shower, and he's like, well, can they come back out and play? I'm like, no, you probably need to go home. Yeah. They're like, well, no, I'm allowed to stay out until 11. Have you had dinner yet?
What?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? They have no idea.
Questions. Yeah.
Right. So that same little boy, one time I was
and he's how old?
I mean, he's young. And he is I would guess he probably has oppositional defiance disorder. But he has a lot of the same issues that Easton has. So he and Easton, when they play together, are good until they're not. Right? And then it's like just two rams.
I think that's why Easton and Cooper get along.
They both like to say no.
Yeah.
So one day I was picking Easton up from football practice. This was last season. And I see this little boy walking home. And it is a walk back to his house. And I said, hey, are you walking? He's like, yeah, my dad was supposed to pick me up, but he's not here. To him, perfectly normal. It's no big deal. He's just going to walk home. I said, get in. I'll drive you home. I start driving him home. And I pass his dad. Okay. So I slow down. His dad's coming down the street, passing each other. I slow down. I roll down my window. His dad rolls down his window. I said, hey, I've got him in the back. I'm bringing him down home. Get to the house. We drop him off. As soon as that kid gets out of the car, his dad starts berating him for getting a ride with me. And I said to him, I said, hey, just so you know, I made him get in. Like, I didn't want him to walk. It was hot. I didn't, he just practiced that entire practice. I didn't want. He never came back to football. That little boy never came back to football.
Really?
Wow.
Still see him all the time, but he never came back to football. And I think to myself, those parents who will call them free range children, right? Like they just run the streets and kind of do whatever. Those parents aren't like me, and they're never going to be. And I can't expect them to parent like I do. So I have to parent those kids when they show up at my house like I parent my kids.
Right.
So hopefully they will see a little bit of love and kindness. And I'm not saying those parents are terrible parents. I'm saying that
just that their method.
definitely not connected to their children. Like my kids talk to me about everything.
Yeah.
And there are parents who envy that. I sometimes am like, I really wish you'd shut up. Right? Like I don't want to hear that
And, like,
story
on
for the
our
fourth
street-
time.
On our street, we're blessed because we have probably like a 5-house safety net of where if Elsa's somewhere, she can go about 5 houses down before I actually start to worry about her because this neighbor, the next neighbor, and the neighbor over, I know them. They know me. And we, like, if Elsa's in such and such a place, they'll text me. It's like, Elsa's at my house.
Yeah.
She's going to be here till whatever we're eating, and she's going to eat with us.
Yep.
And that's, like I said, it's like about 5 houses down. She goes further than that, and me and her have a problem. I've even told her, I said, you can go here. You go there without asking me, and I'm going to come get you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to come get you nice. I'm
Yeah. It's going to snatch you up.
Yeah, because I've told you, and so now you know, and because you think you're Elsa, you're Queen of Arendelle. No, you are not, and I will not let it go. I will let you go. But she knows that she has this boundary line that she's allowed to go to. And I know there are certain kids that live on that same street that don't have that boundary line. The electric bike kids, I call them. It's
a bike gang.
Yes, they all have these electric bikes, and they all over the place.
Yeah.
Without guidance.
Yeah.
And they are, and some of them are.
That's how they get hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some of them are Elsa's age, and I'm like, what are you guys getting?
Back to, can I jump?
Yep.
Back to what you were talking about the schools and all of those things. So it actually segued nice back into the conversation.
I thought it would.
Because I had somebody walk into the bank this morning, sit down at my desk because they needed a notary. So I'm notarizing these, and I'm having a conversation with this person. I've seen him a million times. They're a school administrator for a local school district, and they're sitting at my desk, and we're just chit-chatting. And they were selling some buses. And he and I were talking about the sale of the buses because normally they scrap them. They get all of the usable parts, the viable parts. They keep those for the buses that they've got. Then they scrap the remainder of the bus. They don't get a whole lot of money for it, right? So this time they decided to sell the buses privately. And so he and I are just chatting like it's normal because we see each other regularly. I've talked to him on the phone plenty of times. I know his face when he walks in. And I don't remember what he said to me, but he said to me something to the effect of, we got on the conversation of family, basically. And he said, well, how many kids do you have? I said, I have 5. I said, 1 just graduated. I have 1 that's graduating in 2 years. And then we went through the kids, and he was like, oh, man. He's like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And we started talking about homeschooling. And he's like, well, this is kind of career suicide, but we homeschool our kids. What?
I just figured out who you meant.
Yeah. Isn't it heartbreaking? Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. She just figured out who the 14-year-old was. Heartbreaking. I mean, I'm talking just devastating. Anyway, my gosh. My kids just, I can't imagine how we're going to navigate that. But
He said something to the effect of.
So we started talking about homeschooling, and he said, this is career suicide, but I homeschool my kids as well. He said, I'm a school administrator. He said, but, if I were going to send them anywhere, I'd send them to this district that I'm working at. But, we get into this conversation, and he stops mid-sentence to me. He goes, I think you and we live very similar lives. And I kind of smiled at him, and I said, well, you know, you can see that in one another. You know, you can tell when somebody values their relationship with Christ over the things of the world. And he said, you know, my family and I have a motto. He said, when we decided to homeschool our kids, we sat down and we made a plan. Like, he's very much so a planner, obviously, but they sat down and they made a family blueprint. What does it look like if we homeschool? What do we want it to look like in 3 years, 5 years, whatever? He said, and the motto that we came up with when we were doing this is hearts over things. Hearts over things. We're not going to just buy things because if mom's not going to work, we can't have things. We can't have the extras, right? We can survive and we can pay bills and we can go to the movies and we can do things, but we have to save, right? We have to be able to plan financially. And we got onto the kick of talking about how we raise children in public schools and we test them so much, and we're trying to see, do they understand trigonometry? Do they understand geometry? Do they understand calculus? Do they understand chemistry? Many of those children will never go on to use those things. But kids can't tell you what an Roth IRA is. They can't tell you what compounding interest is. They can't tell you how to balance a checkbook.
Exactly.
They've never learned these things because that's not what the school is worried about. We're worried about kids testing at a certain level.
Yep.
He said, and I can't in good conscience raise my kids that way. And I told him, I said, well, here's a good one for you. We went to see Toy Story 5. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's amazing. But before we went over to the Christian bookstore. And Adeline, who cannot read, by the way, I mean, she can read, but she's not a fluent reader. She's still young. She really wanted this daily devotions book. And she said, I think I have enough money on my card to pay for it. And I said, if you've got enough money, then you can buy it. And this is your decision. So Alyssa checked. She had enough money. She goes up to the counter. She lays the book down. Alyssa and I are standing behind her. She lays the book down. The lady scans it. She looks up at Alyssa and she says, it's $15.27 or whatever the price was. And Alyssa goes, okay, now give them your card. She's got her card. She hands it to them. And they're looking at us like we've lost our minds. They swipe the card. They print out the receipt. They lay it down and they're like, you can sign this. And Alyssa says, sign your name. And we're doing it in cursive because this is a document.
Yeah.
Adeline signs her name in cursive. And a lady, like, she looks up at us. And she said, that's impressive. I said, that's what homeschooling will do for you. Just like that. And like they put everything in the bag and Adeline said, thank you. And out we go. They were blown away that an 8-year-old can sign their name in cursive, manage their own finances and handle all of the things that are, listen, if at 8 years old, my daughter can do those things and in high school, they can't, my oldest son can't write in cursive.
Yeah. I experienced something very similar last week at work. This guy shows up with a load of steel. He's in a big semi, 53-foot trailer. Well, his young son is in the passenger seat with him, so he's hanging out with dad on, summer vacation. So he's hanging out the window eating a banana while I'm unloading all the steel. Well, it gets done. Of course, the straps are on the floor, the bungee cords, all that stuff. He's like, okay, buddy, jump out. And he's like, is it okay if he helps me? I'm like, yeah, sure. I said, we'll keep an eye on him. This kid goes around the truck, starts rolling up all the straps, collecting all the bungee cords, folding up the tarp. I mean, this kid is just like killing it. And I looked at him and said, that is fantastic. Yep. I said, we need more of that right now in this country. If we're, I said, we're in real trouble. I said, we just...
The practical education.
Physical labor is a thing of the past. Nobody wants to do it.
He's like, yep. He's like, he works for his lunch, and if he does a really good job, I'll get him ice cream. Well, then all of a sudden he's like, okay, buddy, go start her up. He jumps up in the semi, starts the semi.
Yes. That's
so then
amazing.
I get into another conversation with him outside. And he's like, oh, yeah, he goes at home. He can switch the bucket out on the tractor.
That's amazing.
Wow.
He can do all this farmhand stuff.
Yep, that's amazing.
And he had to be 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, there's a little kid.
Amazing. Meanwhile, I've got three guys over on a small one-ton truck trying to figure out how to get a little horse off the end of the truck. 3 guys in a forklift, and they're discussing how to get... And I said to him, I goes,
let him go over there and do
this kid right
that.
now is putting you guys to shame. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, dude. And then the one guy picks it up and he's rolling past on the forklift, spills the horse out onto the pavement. And I'm like,
that little boy sitting in the truck laughing.
Yeah. I was just like, that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So I have a little boy in our neighborhood who has his own mowing business, and I joke with his dad. They come into the bank, he makes deposits. This kid makes bigger deposits than some of the adults who bank there. Right? He's got a consistent flow of lawns that he mows. So in the winter months, he plows driveways, and I always pay him to plow our driveway. This kid showed up last winter, the real heavy snow, on his four-wheeler, and he pushes the snow, and his four-wheeler keeps stalling out on him. And he gets out and he hand shovels it.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, dude, you don't need to hand shovel it. Like, if you're four-wheeler, like, it's fine. Like, we'll be okay. He was like, nope, you hired me to do it. I'm going to do it. So he hand shovels the driveway up to the door, around the steps to the front of the house. I mean, he does the whole thing. Okay. He comes back about 7 o'clock at night with his grandpa's tractor with the front loader on it.
No way.
To scoop the snow that he piled up out of the way to make sure that driveway was completely clear. Hops out, salts the driveway.
Huh.
Meet any other kid doing that.
Yeah.
You won't.
No.
Yeah, because there's this little boy that in Indian Valley. I don't know who he is, but he's got to be like Elsa's age, and he's on a full size tractor, and he's lawnmower, and he's on a riding lawnmower, and he's on the baseball field, on the baseball that just cutting the grass on the outfield, and he's just going back and forth. And back.
I bet it's the same kid.
And I was like,
I bet it is.
Possible. Yeah.
and I was like, my daughter. I put her on that bad boy.
He's a very small kid for his age. He is probably
Yes.
older than you think he is, but I guarantee
Yeah.
it's him. I guarantee it.
And I was just watching. And it's just like.
And here's the thing: when he does that stuff, he doesn't charge him for it, because to him, service to his community is equally as important as making money.
Yep.
And see, and that's so impressive to me, and it's lost
Now-
on a lot of people.
Here's the problem. My kids used to be friends with him, and I don't want to say they're not friends with him. Like, they used to be. He's a bad kid.
Yeah.
But
Too busy
They
working.
don't
now.
have
No,
contact with
he-
him like they used to.
he is growing up, and he goes to public school. So he makes gestures and comments that my kids are not comfortable with. And so my kids came home one day. They were out with him on their scooters, and they came home, and Emmett said to me, we've decided we're not going to hang out with him anymore. And I said, oh, what happened? And they're like, well, he was just doing stuff that we didn't like. And I was like, well, like what? And they're like, just stuff. And they wouldn't tell on him. And finally, Emmett said to me, like, hey, here's what was going on. And I was like, that was a good choice to not hang out with him.
Yeah.
Like, not that he's a bad kid. He's growing up.
Right.
And he is a physical laborer. And it tends to be that when they do physical labor, they
pick up
Sure.
things.
act
Yep.
certain ways that,
Yep.
like, you know, everybody jokes that truck drivers tend to have filthy mouths. That's probably a fair statement, but that doesn't mean all truck drivers have a filthy mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
And my guess is this little boy is like, he's learning, he's growing, and eventually at some point he's going to stop doing those things because he wants to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, and not trying to like blow smoke or whatever, but I feel like my daughter is extremely blessed to have your kids around her as often as she has. No, seriously, as often as she has them around, because when Connie takes the kids to the pool or something, they're all very respectful. They pick up their snacks. Because Connie does the whole mother thing with all of them. She'll get a
God
bag.
bless her.
Yes.
I can't do it with one.
She gets a bag full of snacks, and everybody has a towel and all these things, and she has money so they can go and get food or whatever. But all of his kids, whenever they're done eating something or whenever they're done using their towels, they pick everything up. And Elsa is not that way.
But go look at my garage floor. This morning I cleaned up my garage. At least 14 popsicle wrappers on the floor in the garage. So, and I always say this, that's their safe space. It's
Exactly.
a space where they can be
Yes.
unlike they are in
Yes.
the wild.
Yes.
So, you know,
I agree.
it's hard to embrace that, because if you'll do that at Connie's, why won't you do it here?
Yeah.
But at the
Because
same
they
time,
they can't be that way full time.
Yep.
No.
But at least they will do it. They'll do
Yeah.
it elsewhere.
And listen, I don't have a problem bragging on my kids. I've got an Eagle Scout, prom king, class president that just graduated. Listen,
and
they
what
are my biggest accomplishments. And I got 3 text messages while my kids were at camp. My wife was there, and people were texting me. One was a picture of a video of Emmett getting third place in sword drills. Do you know what sword drills are?
Nope.
They give a passage of scripture. The kids all hold their Bibles, and when they say go, you have to be the first one to get to that passage of scripture. You have to be able to stand up and read it.
Sweet.
Right? So the video starts. It says for third place, and I'm watching, and it says John 3:16. Emmett immediately finds it, stands up without looking at his Bible. For God so loved the world. And I was like, that's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah. And it was like, they were blown away. They said, your kids are absolutely fantastic. Then Pastor Rod sent me a picture of Emmett with one of his grandkids. And he was like, I want to make sure that this relationship lasts far beyond camp.
No.
Because he said like, he needs more kids like Emmett in his life. He's small for his age. He just like probably gets picked on a little bit. And Emmett just thinks he's the greatest kid in the world. And so I will always say, you know, even Easton, who has his struggles, my kids are kind, caring, genuinely care about the people around them. So
whenever Easton comes and gets Cooper in the mornings, Chase is like, where's Cooper? I'm like, I don't even care. He's with Easton.
Easton's got him.
Like, I know he's okay. Like, I know Easton's a handful, but I also know he's got him. Like,
Easton, this is not a joke. Easton is going to be the dictator of a small third world country. And all of the kids from our church, all of the kids from our church are going to be his cabinet because he's got minions like you can't even believe. There are like JJ, he's like Easy. He wants Easton all the time. Well,
it's like Elsa loves the heck out of him. It's
Elsa,
unbelievable.
JJ, Cooper, Agnes, Max.
Name
I mean, we can go through this list, and they're all like, but. Again, they are my greatest accomplishment, and I will always brag about how good my children are and the things that they're going to do in this world. And Easton, like I said, he may be a dictator of a third world country, but he's going to lead something somewhere, right?
Something. Yep.
But they genuinely, but again, our family structure is so much different. We have family dinner every night, even when I don't want to, right? Like my wife will be like, hey, dinner's on the table. I'm like, do we have to tonight? She's like, yup.
See, and that's a good thing to have because that's why I admire and love my wife so much. She does that stuff that I won't do,
or I get lazy about,
or I don't want to do.
Well,
it's like I can walk away from that tonight, or I can do. And she's like, no, that's not what we're doing.
I hate it when my wife calls me higher. It makes me so
you hate it and you love it.
Well,
because you know
that it's making you a better person.
If she didn't, who would I be?
Yep. Right. Oh, I'm sitting at the dining room table and my wife challenges me on something, and I looked at her and I was like, let me handle it. Like, that was exactly how I said it, right like that. And she didn't say another word. I got up and I walked away and I was mad. And then I sat down and I was like, but she's freaking right.
Yes.
I don't have to like it, but she, I mean, that's my wife all the time. She's always calling me higher. Always. Yep. Always. So.
All right. So I want to give this episode just a little bit of history because I want to argue.
Of course.
I want to argue Timothy Snyder's point that, you know, this country was, he argues this country was not founded on Christian principle, and there's no history to support it.
Yeah, well, we all know he's wrong, but go ahead and hit us with the facts.
It just so happens I was reading this amazing book by Daniel Walker Howe called What God Hath Wrought, which is an early history of American society up until about 1848. So this is the beginning of the country up until about 1848 when we start getting into
before
more of the Civil War period.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll just read a little bit of this and then we'll get some comments from you and talk a little bit about it. Okay, so let's see. All right. Well, now it just went blank okay, here we go. When one looks for evidence of religious awakening in this period, one finds it everywhere, not only in the astonishing variety of religious sects, both imported and native, but also in literature, politics, educational institutions, popular culture, social reforms, dietary reforms, utopian experiments, child-rearing practices, and relationships between the sexes. In terms of duration, numbers of people involved, or any other measure, the Second Great Awakening dwarfs the first. Because of its religious diversity, perhaps it should be called a multitude of awakenings. While the number of religious options multiplied, so did the number of congregations and individual believers. The physical landscape reflected the formation of new congregations. Americans were erecting church buildings at the rate of 1,000 a year, while the U.S. population increased from 7.2 million in 1810 to 23.2 million in 1850. The number of church members increased even faster, although since the census did not enumerate people by religious groups, their numbers have to be extrapolated from other data. But by the middle of the 19th century, an estimated one-third of the population affiliated with organized religion, twice the percentage of 1776, even though church membership was often deliberately demanding and difficult to achieve. To be sure, this still represented a minority, and the evangelical movement would always be resisted in many quarters. But the Second Great Awakening put religious practice in the United States on an upward trajectory that would continue through the 20th century. The contrast with Europe, where religious faith declined in the same era. And it says, American religion flourished in a society with a thinly developed institutional structure, enlisting the most energies of the people themselves. The most important social consequences of the awakening in America derived from its trust in the capacities of ordinary people. In the early American Republic, the most significant challenge to the traditional assumption that the worth of human beings depended on their race, class, and gender came from the scriptural teachings that all are equal in the sight of God and all are in one Christ. Now, Dale, I wanted to touch on what you were talking about early on concerning the races. And, of course, the American idea of, all men are created equal, and yet, we were going to hold, the African-American people in bondage. But I felt it was really interesting, and I'm trying to scroll to where I see it, but I don't even think I need to read it. It's interesting to note that even in a society where slavery was the common law and common rule, that African Americans coming from a different country, coming from Africa, are going to adopt Christianity in such a large number that in some ways it almost
You'd think they would retaliate.
It almost eclipsed what the white American was doing, because the African American was so strong in their Christianity that even in the South, they had their own churches, they could have their own congregations. And I found it interesting to learn that a lot of times, a lot of churches in the South had a white preacher and a black preacher, and both races would listen to both sermons and worship together. Even though they would be seated separately, they still listened to both words. And
I've always, my mom and dad grew up in the South. They're from a small town called Luverne in Alabama. And it was, for me, the way that, it's going to sound weird, it's the way that black people worship, and especially at that time when they were coming into their own and they were, out from under slavery, the way they worship was to be very, very boisterous, very musical about everything that God had done for them. And it's like you get people from the culture lifting him up because I know how rough it was.
Right.
And so he's the only way out.
Yeah.
And so you get people when they're talking about it or when they're preaching about it, it's like, the Lord has been so good to me. It was part of their struggle to be able to praise him in the way they wanted to praise him. And so you get that, you know what I mean? You get churches that are built solely on making sure that he's receiving the praise, but and the way you do it is so, demonstrative. It's like,
yeah. And Michael, you know this, when we're talking about early American music, when we get into like Sam Phillips, like the fact that most of the music that we understand in this culture came from African American
Yeah, buddy.
music,
Like you get
but
Sam
also
Cooke
came from
and,
that
you know.
African American gospel, as you're
Yep.
saying,
Almost
singing it
all
in the
of it.
fields.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
all of
Is
it.
where
That's
it
what I
came
was gonna
from.
say.
From the soil up. I think that is one more argument to be had, is that the very fabric of our
Yeah.
society,
At
it
our
takes
entire
so much
core,
from
our entire core.
from that.
Well, you can argue all you want that that we're not founded in Christianity, or we're not founded in religion. That and religion becomes a bitter word nowadays, because whenever you say religion, people have a connotation of what religion means, and it didn't mean that long ago.
Well,
when you said religious people, it was okay. But now
It was our
done
strength. Yeah, it was.
but we've done certain things to dilute and
Yeah.
to shred it so it doesn't mean what it used
Right.
to.
Here's what's happened is we have we've taken the word religion, which is what being a faithful servant of Jesus used to be. You were a religious person. That became a negative connotation, so we came up with a new way to say it. And so rather than being religious, we have relationship, right? And we can argue that all day long. It's all really the same thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be religious in the way that I follow the law, but I don't have relationship, right?
Right.
Like we're not following religious law. We're not but you still can't take away from the fact that religion as a whole is a perfectly healthy thing to have, so long as it's done appropriately.
Exactly.
And I think, like you said, is now a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a religious person. No, I have a relationship with Christ, but I belong to a religion.
Yeah. So the last one I wanted to read that kind of sums up the argument is that the religious awakenings of the early 19th century marshaled powerful energies in an age when few other social agencies in the United States had the capacity to do so. Evangelical United Front organized its voluntary associations on a national, indeed international level at a time when little else in American society was organized, when there existed no nationwide business corporation save the Second Bank of the United States, and no nationwide government bureaucracy save the post office. Indeed, the four major evangelical denominations together employed twice as many people, occupied twice as many premises, and raised at least 3 times as much money as the post office. The extent to which evangelical religion dominated communication in the early republic is most vividly exemplified by the fact that per capita, twice as many Methodist sermons were heard in 1840 as there were letters received. The historian Richard Carradine, after carefully estimating that about 40% of the U.S. population was in close sympathy with Christianity, not the same thing as belonging to a church, concludes that this was the largest and most formidable subculture in American society. It could only be a matter of time before the energies generated by religion began to make themselves manifest in politics. So I think that sums it up pretty good.
Absolutely.
So the question then has to be raised, and this is one of the big questions I have, is can this American society survive without Christianity as its guiding principle?
Without Christianity as its guiding, it can survive without it. Do you want it to survive that way? Maybe not, because Christianity produces morals, and I mean people can argue that if they want to, but if you are a true Christian, and by that I mean you follow and believe that Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And you're following in his footsteps, and you're building, as Pastor said, relationship. You are not going to be able to do some of the things that you would do in a non-Christian life, because you are going to give yourself license in some areas to do what you feel, how you feel it should be done, and without a Christian, without a relationship to Christ, you're not going to have a border for yourself. You're not going to have that pullback thing that where Jesus wouldn't do it like this. This is not loving. This is, you know what I mean? And so without a Christian belief system, without a relationship to Jesus, I don't think that we would survive the way we need to survive. We have to have, Christ has to be at the head of this nation in order for us to come back to where we need to be. Once we put him at the head and we're all searching for a true loving relationship with Christ, then we can make it. But if we are all looking for our version of what we think it should be, then we won't, because we all have our own idea.
Narrative.
But we all have our own experiences, our own
priorities.
And so we need to be focused on making Jesus Christ the center and the most important thing, and establishing relationship with him. And you establish relationship, like say if me and Syd were just out and about and I'm trying to have a conversation with her, as long as Jesus Christ is at the center of our core belief, and that we're trying to be loving, loving Christian people.
End goal.
Same, trying to meet the same end goal. I'm trying to understand you. You're trying to understand me, and being respectful in that. Then anything is possible in that situation. But if I have my agenda and she has hers, and I'm trying to win you to my side, then we have angst. It's like we talked before about everything in society is built for division. Buckeyes, Wolverines, Democrat, Republican, Jordan
versus Bird.
LeBron,
Jordan versus Bird.
Jordan versus Bird. But, everything is made for division. And so it's always a choice of whether you want to increase that divide or whether you want to come together. It was like, I like some of the Wolverines, or that's hard to say. But that was tough. That was tougher than I thought it was going to be.
You can leave now.
Right? I'm like, I'm not welcome back in my own home. So. But when you can cross the divide and present Christ in a proper way, and just build the relationship and not the religion of it, and everything becomes possible.
So I felt like you answered that question, but it was a really long answer.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the question was,
Yeah, I wanted you
do
to
we
reiterate.
feel like the country can survive?
Can this American society survive without Christian as its guiding principle?
I feel like we are right now.
We're surviving,
Yeah.
but we're not.
But
this
not
isn't
in the
life
way.
support.
thriving. Correct.
Correct.
So
I say we are not flourishing.
if I can give a direct answer, I think the direct answer is no. I don't
Yeah.
think that that's realistic, that we survive long term, because what happens is other less prevalent, we begin to manage to the exception. We begin to rule to the exceptions rather than to the masses, right? And so we start making laws that prohibit, or even if they're not laws, we start making rules or expectations that prohibit Christianity from existing in society, where we allow countercultures to exist and survive, and then dictate how the world is going to operate, right? I think that will be the ultimate downfall, is when that becomes the norm. And I think we're getting there, and we're seeing that a lot more. And I think, just like you said, everything is designed to be divisive. Everything is designed to cause a fight. Everything is designed to put us on opposite sides of the fence. But I think that it can be changed, but I don't think it is changed, ready for this, by administration. Don't think it is changed by government. I don't think it is changed by governing law. I think it is changed by the church. I think when the church adapts its mindset to being less abrasive and more welcoming, we see a meaningful difference. I had a lady ask me one time, she arrived in town and she was the sister of a friend of mine, and she came up to me. She was actually in the building. She was in our church. Her sister was here doing something for me, and we were talking, and she said, so I'm just going to ask you very directly, would I be welcome here? And I said, I'm sorry, why do you ask? And she goes, well, I'm gay. And I said, absolutely, you're going to be welcome here. I said, are we going to agree with you? Maybe not. I said, and will somebody possibly say something to you about it? Maybe. Mm-hmm. But that person is not a reflection of Jesus.
Exactly.
This body welcomes everybody because we welcome everybody here to seek meaningful change in their life. Yours may be different than the guy sitting next to you. And she was blown away by the answer. She said, I don't know that I've ever had anybody just simply say yes.
Mm-hmm. And then go.
She said oftentimes they'll say, well, I'm okay with it, but I don't know if everybody's okay with it or whatever. I'm like, this body will welcome you regardless.
Absolutely.
Again, you might find one or two that disagree with you, but generally speaking, yes, you are welcome here. And I think that we have to do better at that. Mm-hmm. We have to do better at welcoming people in and doing a much better job at taking that divisive attitude and or design and leaving it at the door. And everybody that comes in is equally deserving of the grace of God, just the same as we are. There are some of us who walk in here and pretend like we don't need grace because we've got it figured out, right? I had one guy tell me one time, I preached a sermon on being offended, on offense. Mm-hmm. And while I was preaching this message, I was bringing people up out of the congregation, and they were standing in front of me in a line, and I was behind them, and the congregation was in front of me. And as I would talk, I would put them there. And I said, see, the offense has become offense. Mm-hmm. And now we can't get to one another because we have become offended by all of these things. Mm-hmm. So my question is where are the gaps in your fence, right? Like, what are the things that bother you? What are the things that create issue in your life that you can't be emotionally connected to people because of it? And I had one guy say, he said, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He came up to me after the sermon. He said, I don't have any problems with anybody. Like, I've got this figured out. Like, I know exactly what I need to do in order to maintain relationship with Christ and not allow other people around me to affect that relationship.
Then why are you here?
And I immediately said to myself, I didn't say it to them. I immediately said to myself, then you've got
it figured out.
Like,
see you later, bye.
Good for you. I mean, geez, Jesus should just come and get you now because you're going to ascend to the throne. I mean, I think you have arrived, my friend. Good job. Right? Like, congratulate you.
Your time
Did you get a gold star or a certificate to prove
job,
it? Because
Elijah.
you should have. And my mind was so
Seems
blown.
like your time up here should be up.
My mind was so blown at
chariot already.
the boldness of that statement. Well, yeah, because at this point, the clouds should open up and he should just ascend into heaven. He doesn't even have to die, right? Like, he should just be able to walk right in. But it's amazing to me that somebody could so boldly claim that and be so ignorant to the fact that by boldly claiming that they are the exact opposite of what they claim to be.
Exactly.
And that's what I think the world has come to. And so one of the things that guy said was that there's this like, everybody has this fear of the Trump administration being a certain way. And I'm not disagreeing. Like, there are things that they do that I don't agree with. And I really wish he would just stop talking.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you would just
Write it
govern
out.
and don't talk to anybody, please just don't talk to anybody. People should not interview him. And it's because he is a crass person, right? And it's how he's always been his entire life.
Yep.
This isn't new. Everybody that knows him knows this. The problem is, though, is then he gives people bait.
Yes.
To create this, like, I almost swore. He's a jerk, right? Like, this creation. And I'm not saying that he's not. I don't know him personally.
It's worked for him.
His entire life, it's worked for him.
Yeah.
And yes, has he filed bankruptcy? Blah, 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 blah. I'm sure all of the people who are claiming that he's done that have probably done it themselves. Yeah. Like, there's this whole, like, he has to be better. The problem is in America, no, you don't. Right? The people who ascend to the presidency are some of the least likely people to ascend to the presidency. George Washington did not want to be president of the United States. It
a lot
was
of things he didn't want to do.
Desire, and yet he did. That should be the goal for everybody. It shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't be about religion. It should be about honoring what God has done in this country, right? For us as Christians, it should be honoring what God has done in this country and believing he will continue to do it, but without the expectation of an administration doing it for us.
Amen.
Right? Like he can put his name on money. And if you don't like him, you're still going to have that money in your wallet, right?
Yep.
He can do all of those things, but what he cannot do is lead you to Jesus.
Amen.
Right.
He can't get you into heaven. And it's the same with Barack Obama. It's the same with Joe Biden. It's the same with Hillary Clinton. I don't care who you like. I don't care what you believe in, whether you're an HW or just a W fan. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. They can't get you to heaven. They can't get you to eternal life. The only person that can do that is Jesus.
Absolutely. It's like you said through this broadcast and any other thing, it's that relationship. That's what gets you where you need to be. Is you go home at night and you have that conversation with Jesus, and you guys are heart to heart, and you're pouring out your heart as to, how important he is in your life, how much you love him, what he's done for you, where he's brought you from. As my mom used to say all the time when I was little, he brought me from over here to over yonder. And I know now that I'm 64, I know what she means by that. I came from, I didn't have it all. I didn't have all the answers. I came from this big struggle and thought I wasn't going to make it through. I came from getting laid off 3 weeks ago to having a job. I came from, and all those things that I came from, he brought me to bring me through.
Yes.
And I didn't do any of it on my own.
Right.
And we all have to remember that. I don't care whether you ascend to the highest mountain or you're in the lowest valley. He will lift you up and he will tear you down. All to bring you to understand that he is God all by himself. He doesn't need us.
Yeah.
And we're not going to, I'm sorry, Nick.
No, go ahead.
We're not going to get where we need to be as a country.
Right.
Without realizing that he's bringing us through, whether it's through this president or the last president or whatever, Jesus brings us through.
And I can hope and pray that my elected officials counsel God before they make any
Right.
big decisions.
Amen.
That's my hope and my prayer that's what they're doing. I mean, they're human just like everybody else, and they have a lot of things to contend to. So I'm always in the hope that whatever they decide to do, they've counseled God before they make that decision.
Yes.
So I think if you take that out of the equation, I think if you think we're in trouble now, take that out, and I think game over. Me being the historian that I am, I don't believe that if Lincoln doesn't have God as his guiding principle, and some of the other Christian leaders that we had at the time, I don't think the Civil War ever ends. I think it goes way longer than 4 years. I don't think slavery ever ends. In 1941, when we go into World War II, I don't think it ends in 1945. I think Hitler runs rampant. And, and the Nazi, that grows into a much bigger thing because there was nobody standing on Christian principle to stop him.
And we would have already had a World War III.
Yep.
I think if
absolutely.
Kennedy at the Bay of Pigs, I don't think if has any Christian principle, I think he hits that button. And possibly
Cuban
would
Missile
destroy the
Crisis,
whole,
all of that
I think
stuff
that
is just...
turns out completely different. So I think if you don't check that box, I just don't see how this world, we're even still here, especially the government that we have and what we're supposed to stand for. If we don't have that check in the box, I just don't see how
we even got here.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't see how we're going to survive without it. I just don't.
Yeah. No, that was a really good point.
No, absolutely.
Of the whole episode, I would say.
Yes.
with lots of history involved, as as one would expect from Nick.
I started to say, well,
was
what
good.
else is he going to do, right? He's got to bring the history.
I'm waiting for him to start rapping the Hamilton songs or something.
Well, and it's just so, and we've talked about this, Dale. It's so confusing right now because honestly, you hear a lot of these young kids and they're talking all these conspiracy theories about Israel and how they're actually the Antichrist, and we're getting into this whole thing. And everything right now is so confusing, and I think young people are so confused about what's really going on, whose side are these people really on, and it's just like you get all that can just weigh down on you. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to believe. And
Well-
so if you're not standing on any true Christian principle to know the truth or
Right.
not, you're gonna get wrapped
You're
up in
gonna
all
bend.
these conspiracy theories, which the Bible tells us not to be to get ourselves wrapped up into.
Absolutely. And I don't know much history. I mean, that's why I'm always amazed at what you bring to the table as far as history and everything goes, because
Well, like I said, I mean, I don't think your people survive, the weight of the circumstance they were put in.
That's a crushing thing.
But there's so much redemption that comes out of it, and most of it is based on the Christian principle, on that Christian beliefs that they have. That's why it carries so much power after the fact, and you can look back on it with so much redemption, is because look at what their belief system was that carried them through, that created a whole culture.
Yes, the fact that they could, and I say they because I was not involved, thank goodness, because it might have set us back a few years, but the fact that any people, because Irish immigrants were mistreated.
Yeah, sure.
You had Asian people that were forced to build the railroads and things like that.
Yeah, we had a political party that was called the Know Nothings, and their whole platform was they're all about the natives. Any immigrants on the outside, they did not want them in this country.
So the strength of Christianity in any of those people to just persevere through whatever trials, and that's why I'm always talking about where you come from. And when I say where you come from, I'm talking about what struggles has he brought you through. I mean, even in Syd's young life, I guarantee you she's had turmoil, she's had troubles, and she's had situations that she may have looked at and said, how am I getting out of this? What can I do? And so she hits her knees, like all four of us would do in this room. We hit our knees and we say, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this situation, but I know that you are going to bring me through it. You're going to bring me to the other side of it. And that's what all of us do, and that's what he does every time he brings us through it. And it's the same with this nation.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? No, don't get me started. Look at Connie has this ringtone on her phone. I call her. It's like, I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? No, but that's what that made me think of. But it's the same with this nation, that no matter what we're going through, or no matter what we're facing, whoever's in power, out of power, whatever it is, our focus is on Jesus. And as long as it's on Jesus, he is going to pull us through. And we're going to come out on the other side. We're going to come out stronger. We're going to come out better. And we're going to come out. The thing is, what I hope and pray is that we come out together. Because that's the thing right now. We are so divided. We are, and whether it's along religious lines or racial lines or political lines, we are so divided that we're not even taking time to love our fellow man. We're not taking time to consider that he or she or they or whoever may have a point to what their struggle is or what their struggle has been.
Right.
We're more interested in saying, this is how I feel, and leaving it at that, instead of saying, how do you feel?
The louder I am, the righter I am.
Exactly.
The writer.
I mean,
Well, that's
what people think.
I know. And that right there just shows the ignorance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously.
If I shout louder than you, then that means I'm right and you're wrong. And that's when it becomes hard to defend yourself. Because when I won't defend myself, it's assumed that whatever the other
That you're
person is
weak
saying
or
is
that-
true.
Right. No,
Even
it's
though
you
it
big and- a
may
bigger
not
person.
be. Right. And then at the end of the day, when it all comes out in the wash and everybody's like, wait a second. But nobody ever comes back and goes, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I didn't, and I think that's the problem is we also don't know how to apologize to people.
Yes.
That's one of the things
say
that, listen, I got to leave because my wife's like, hey, when are you coming home?
No one knows how to communicate or let alone apologize.
We don't know how to apologize. So we teach our kids that you don't just get to say, I'm sorry. If you punch your brother in the face, you don't just get to say, I'm sorry. No. You are going to say, I'm sorry for punching you in the face.
Right.
When you said this, it made me feel this, and I became angry.
Yeah.
Right? And when your kids can do that, naturally, it will make them much better off to go out into the world, have jobs, have relationships, be able to function in society in a much higher way. And the problem is we have allowed teachers to parent our children. We send them to school 8 hours a day. We allow the school to parent our children. Parents have truly, again, back to the very beginning.
Drop the ball.
We have really just given up.
Hands off.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've really given up. Yep. And that started really probably 80s and 90s.
Well, and I
when
think
we had latchkey kids, both parents were going to work, we're coming home.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And we're, you know what I mean?
Whenever we made this big American dream, but then let's have everyone be a part of it.
Yes.
But then who's home to be able to make this great family foundation?
I can't tell you the number of times my parents would be at work until we'd get home from school. My parents would be at work, and we'd have like books of matches, lighting gas on fire in the garage and stuff. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
this is not a joke. Like
Yeah.
we used to make homemade explosives out of. This is not a joke either. Tidy bowl and aluminum foil. I don't know how it worked. I don't understand the science. I failed chemistry 3 times because I thought I'd never need it. And apparently I didn't because I just still blew stuff up. But you'd put it in a pop bottle. Don't let your kids listen to this. Roll up really tight balls of aluminum foil, put them in a pop bottle, put tidy bowl in there. You shake it and you throw it and it would explode. So we used to go up to what they called the Devil's Teacup right up behind where you guys live. And
do you know how to get there? Because I would love to be up there.
It's been a long time since I've been there, but it's basically just a cliff in the woods. And it's probably not as big as it used to be, but
I've just heard
in my mind it was huge. But we would go up there. We'd take 5 or 6 of them. We'd shake them up, throw them up in there. And you'd occasionally have one pop off before you got it fully out of your hand. And you're like, all right, I still got them all. Count your fingers. I'm not kidding.
Yep.
But that's when the problem started because my parents didn't know what I was doing. There was no way to track me. There was no way to know if I was safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Dale, I want to share this with you. Not that it matters to you, and I'm not telling you this because you're black. For anybody who didn't know Dale was black because they've never seen his face, Dale was black. Right? I'm not telling you this because of that, but I am telling you this because I think it's interesting for me having learned these things and have to share them. A couple of Sundays ago,
because his wife is also.
Yes, my wife is biracial. Yes, so I'm sitting in the back, and a conversation came up, and I sat quietly while it happened, and it wasn't racist inherently. But as I'm sure you are aware, sometimes those microaggressions grow into things that they probably should be stopped before they are.
Yes.
So somebody made a comment, and I stopped them very quickly, and I just said, I don't think that's an appropriate conversation. They're like, what do you mean? And so I explained to them, I said, you have never walked into a room and had to count the number of black people or the number of white people in a room. I said, it's something that I learned from my wife that when she enters a room, one of the things that she does is she looks around and says, how many people of color are in this room? Okay.
Which is horrible. I can't even.
You can't
begin
fathom
to
that, right?
fathom
Because we've never had to do it.
That.
And so trying to explain to somebody, a group of people who have never experienced that. Yeah. And then I said to them, I said, here's the thing that you need to understand, that I didn't know these things either until I married my wife, and we had open and honest conversation about race and the things that I didn't understand, right? So the only interactions I've ever had with black people outside of Dale have been less than savory, but it's because I've only ever known 3. And they were all part of the same family, and they beat my brother with a baseball bat to get a pizza. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
That really happened. Okay? So that's the interaction that I have. So my assumption became as a child, because once that happens, everybody says negative things about the color of the person and not the character of the person, right? And so then inherently,
exactly,
this is common practice. Anyhow, we're having the conversation. I make that point, and then somebody was like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. There's probably a lot of things that we don't fully understand. And the point for saying that in that context is that I think that's the same with everybody who's living in the world around us right now. We have we've come from different paths in our lives. We've had parents that didn't care, parents that cared too much. We didn't grow up with grandparents. We had grandparents that were heavily involved in we all have these different things. We went to different school districts. We lived in different counties. We had different friend groups. We all have these experiences that have shaped who we are, and it's our
It's
responsibility.
not a level playing field.
It's not. And it's our responsibility as Christians to be able to go out and explore the things that we don't fully understand or don't fully know. And do that with grace and humility and say, I don't know and I want to learn. Right?
Yes.
And so it was a really interesting conversation. It did die very quickly.
Yeah. And
Very quickly.
I find it funny. It's the same as, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's like when one or two or more black men are in a store,
Oh, yeah.
they will nod at each other. They got to give each other the what's up.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah,
You're here.
And it's kind of like,
We're here. I see you. Yep. I see you.
Got your back.
The other...
And I don't see anybody else ever do that. But
It's like motorcyclists who always wave at each other with two fingers.
The island I stayed on, if you did not wave when you, and it was like a 3 wave. It was like a, and like if you didn't wave, like they were being offended. So we learned during those 6 days, and you better wave.
Yeah.
Even if we are outsiders, you better wave. You're on our island.
The other thing that I explained in that group was that then there are people of color who struggle. My wife is one of these because she is not black enough.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like she is criticized on both sides because white people look at her and go, oh, she's black. And black people look at her and go, oh, she's not black
you got
enough.
these people that are like, oh, you represent the Republican Party? Oh, you're not black. You're not really black.
Right. Yeah.
And I've seen, and
My wife's one cousin gives her a hard time. Brother, nephew, I don't remember what he is. But I've never met the man. Related to my wife, never met him. He lives further away, but he texts her regularly. I've never had a conversation with him, never heard his voice, never seen his face, don't even know what he looks like. But he will oftentimes tell her that she's not black enough. And I think he's joking sometimes, but it's still it's a microaggression, but from the other side, right? Like,
it's a passive aggressive kind
because she I'm joking about this obviously, but she doesn't eat fried chicken and waffles or like the things that like we like. If I say that, it's inherently racist, but he uses it from the exact opposite side, right? Like,
well, it's like my brother.
You're not black enough because you don't.
I'm allergic to melon.
Oh,
Right? any melon, and so we'll have a family get
You get
together.
it, don't you?
Yes, and my brother is like sitting there eating watermelon, going, Dale, you have to give me your black card, bro. You can't eat watermelon. What Next thing you know, you tell me you can't eat fried chicken.
That's what I'm saying.
Is it art?
Yes.
Oh.
You can't eat watermelon. You can't dunk a basketball.
Now, see, I'm gonna lose that card. But it's like I said at one point. Sometimes we can make things uncomfortable because, like I said, in our church, there's like about three black people in our church, and I said, the more blacks you add to a situation, the more uncomfortable certain people will get.
You're exactly right.
Like, so if I would say you come into our church and one day and it was half white, half black, there would be some people.
Oh, they would have to
there
leave.
Would be some people is like, oh, no, too many.
Yep.
But that is a personal thing. That is not a Christian thing. And so that is when you need to begin to examine. That's when you need to begin to examine yourself, because what I want as a church person, as a congregant, is to come in and be happy no matter the situation. If I came in and there were, more Asians than we're used to having, I'd be like,
Which would be one.
Yes.
But here's the thing. This is the part that, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're
we
fine.
don't have them in our community.
Yeah.
There are so few in our community that it's not
Absolutely.
like diversity is normal here.
Yeah.
Like the majority of the people in our community are old white people.
Yes. And therein lies the
which is where racism is born.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because
it's not intentional.
Yeah, I don't know it. I've never seen it. Therefore, it's unwelcome.
And not even unwelcome. Uncomfortable,
yeah,
I think, is a fair
exactly.
statement.
So then it's unwelcome because I'm uncomfortable.
Well, no, not always. Like for me,
No.
like I'm like, can I say that?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like what?
Yes.
Because the rules change a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like
The number of friends I have that will tell me a joke that they wouldn't necessarily tell the next black guy,
right?
Because that's like, well, I've dealt with you, Dale. I know you're okay.
Well, you know, we grew up with the show In Living Color.
Oh yes.
You could not have that show today.
Well, it's the same way with All in the Family. You couldn't make that.
No.
The Jeffersons, you couldn't make that. There
so
were
many shows, so many.
Blazing Saddles. Make Blazing Saddles today. Make Blazing Saddles today, and see if you don't go to jail over that one.
Well, he tried that, and it got I think like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
and they had.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that we have so hyper focused on the big picture and not the little picture. And the little picture should be where each of the churches are focused. We should be focused on the community that God has called us to, serving that community. And then when we get really, really good at that, he will continue to grow that. Because when we're faithful with little, he will trust us to be faithful with much. And when we're faithful with much, he'll trust us to be faithful with little. And I want to be very clear about one more thing. We've talked about exponential growth in this building. There was a season where we were running at 30 and 40. We're running over 100 almost consistently. But if you look around the church, those 100 are almost all new people.
Yep.
Because we went through a season of serious pruning. And I hate as Christians, we get tied up in this, it's a season of, I'm in my season of. Listen, I understand that's a nice way of saying that God is doing something today that he wasn't doing yesterday. And so that's why we use that terminology. But he is trimming. And you'll notice that there are legacy members who aren't here anymore. And when I say legacy members, I don't mean they're legacy members to this church, but older people who have been in church a long time. And they don't like being made uncomfortable. They think that they can do and tell somebody else what to do and they should just listen. I had one person in our church call me and leave me a voicemail, legacy member of our church.
You got 60 seconds.
Call and leave me a message, and they were swearing at me in the phone message.
Something someone else did?
No, because they were upset with me. So I sent them a text the next day, and I just said, hey, I've got your voicemail. I want to handle a couple of things. First of all, I didn't know about the thing that you were talking about. And second of all, if you can't speak to me respectfully like I do you, please just don't call me anymore. They left the church. I don't care. Go somewhere else, right? Yep. Like go talk to another pastor that way, but you ain't going to do it here, right?
There are people...
30 seconds, Senator.
Okay, so... My point is that God will continue to prune, but we are going to continue to grow regardless. It's just we're going to grow good fruit instead of bad fruit. Am I done with 30 seconds?
No, you got 15 seconds.
15 seconds. That's all I've got to say. I have nothing else to say about that. If you have any questions, please call your state senator. Did I get it? Are we done?
Got it, yep.
Okay.
So we're at 2.5 hours.
Oh, my God.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, guys. So,
nobody's listening to this whole episode.
That's what I was like.
they will.
In one sitting.
Yeah.
Not
Maybe
in
if they're
one
delivering mail, but that's about it.
setting. Not in one sitting, but...
But thank you guys
It's
for
awesome.
both of
It
you
was
for coming
good.
in. It was
Yeah,
great.
thanks
Good
for
to have you
having us.
back.
Yeah.
Definitely have to be done again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so thanks everybody for listening. Of course, this weekend, Independence Day, America 250.
Don't blow off any fingers.
Hope everybody has a good time. Be safe. Stay cool. Yeah, don't blow any digits.
Back it up, Terry.
Don't try that tidy bowl and...
Yeah.
Aluminum foil.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, disclaimer. Yeah.
Bad episode to bring that into.
Yeah, I might have to put the, what do they call it? The
disclaimer.
explicit.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
explicit content on
Yeah, I
it.
might have to mark the box this time.
Don't
Might
do
have
this at
to.
home.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, guys. Hey, Dale, you want to pray us out?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right, guys. See you next week.
I'm waiting for somebody to refuse to to pray us out. It's like, no, I'm not. Pass it to so-and-so.
Music's not coming up. There we go.
Father God, I just want to thank you for allowing this union to happen today. It was a joyous time. We covered, a lot of topics that related to and didn't relate to the topic.
Yes.
But everything leads back to you. It always has and always will. I pray traveling mercy over all of those that gathered today. Nic, Pastor Michael, Syd, and myself. Father God, just this country on 250 years of serving you is what it should be all about. 250 years of trying to get it right and continuing to grow as a country, because it's only 250 years.
Yeah.
And so to keep us in the right mindset that to serve you, and if we're serving you, this country will grow and this country will prosper and we will get it right. Thank you, Father God, for all you've done for each and every one of us, those in this room and those in the sound of my voice. Father God, I just pray that all of us continue to look to and worship you, because you are worthy to be praised.
Yes.
All these things we pray in the precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Hey friends, Pastor Michael again. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you should consider joining us on Sunday mornings. Our address is 1943 North Water Street Extension in Yorksville. We'd love to have you join us for an in-person service.